And we are live. Hey, Concrete.
Hey, Danny girl, what's going on with you?
Honey. Why we had to do a show today? I'm sick of this shit.
I
I'm ready.
know. I'm like, dang, this worse than my 9
Baby, I'm just
to 5.
like, do we really have to do this show today? Like,
Listen, we
do
on
they
double
really?
duty, it feel like.
You know, they say you lazy girl and you don't be wanting to do no shows and stuff. So,
Listen, when I'm not doing shows, I'm working at home. Just because I ain't on the air, baby. Don't ever think I'm able to just sit around because I don't even know what that feel like.
baby, they said you ain't want to do nothing. You just be want to chill. Listen.
Listen, I don't be chilling though. I have so many projects. I have like 10 million things going on at any given time. So it's never just listen. Let me go tell my fiance to come get on air and tell y'all cuz baby, he it annoys the hell out of him. I don't sit down.
Wait a minute. He ain't the culprit, is he?
No. He wants me to sit down. He be like, "Sit down
You
somewhere."
need
I'm like,
to,
"No,
but you
but
ain't
I
got no
got to
damn
do this.
boundaries,
But I
honey.
got to do that."
You ain't got no boundaries.
Yeah, I'm special.
Damn,
But what's
Jim.
going
No,
on with
baby, it's a
you?
Gemini trait.
You know
Set
what?
boundaries.
I'm not about to listen. Happy hump day. How was your Tuesday and Wednesday? Because I just talked to you on Monday.
To be honest, yesterday was absolutely fucking fantastic. I got some really good news that I can't discuss online, but absolutely, absolutely fucking fantastic.
Okay,
And
go you.
yeah, go me. It's been a long time goddamn coming. So I'm excited about some stuff that's rolling out down the line. Other than that, it has just been a week. You know, I'm missing my child, and yeah, that's about it.
Oh, little Solomon.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tuesday, what did I do? I was so busy yesterday. I had like so much work to do from my 9 to 5, but I'm salary, so I ended up working until like later in the evening, and I I, I need some more hours in my day, baby, because I'm tired, sister tired.
Baby, all you have to do is say these two little letters.
What would
No.
that be?
Say it
I,
with me. Say
mhm.
no.
It
Say it.
doesn't even feel right
Say it.
saying
Say no.
it.
Say it. Come on, because you ain't said it yet.
Listen,
No.
yeah, I'm one of those
Say
that
no.
I can't.
No.
And you know what else is the
Sorry,
crazy
I
part is
can't.
my friends, like I feel like I don't, corona, like I don't get to hang out with my friends as often. So like trying to, be able to hang out with them, and like I have two friends that I'm supposed to link up with this week. I linked up with one last week and two the week before. And then I got like 5 to 7 more that I need to squeeze in. I'm just like, oh my
All
gosh.
before your birthday?
Listen, I need to have just one big birthday dinner and be like, oh yeah. So then I'll be able to see everybody
But
at
you know,
once.
Geminis do weird stuff like they have to keep their friends separate.
Yeah,
But
my
y'all
friends can't
have
be
like
friends.
a
My
why?
friends can't be friends. No, you my friend, not they friend. What you mean? Y'all
Why?
don't got nothing to talk about except for me. Why the heck would you need to be friends with my friend? You my friend, they my friend. That's all y'all need to know. Y'all can
I
see each other when
cannot
y'all
breathe.
linked up in my baby, I don't play that. No, my friends are
Men
my
be
friends. Y'all
mad
my
as
friends, not
hell.
each other. Girl, listen. Look. Okay. I do not play that. I am the territorial friend, and they're my friend, like my best friend. She knows how I am, so she'll invite. First of all, this is what she do. She'll be like, "Oh my gosh, friend, you're not gonna like her. She is, ghetto," or like really and truly, my best friend is very generous, and a lot of people will like cling to her because they be having their hands out. And so she know I'm like real protective of her and stuff. So she'll tell me, you're not going to like these people. And then she'll invite me around and then be like, well, why aren't you mingling? Why aren't you getting to know them? Or why are you standoffish? I'm like, all the shady stuff you done told me about her. I don't want to be her
you
friend.
really come to the event and oh my God, Gemini is fuck. Oh my God.
Also, we don't have nothing in common. I'm not dancing, twerking, smoking. Like, what you want to talk about? Because they not my type of people. So yeah, a little bit, a little Gemini. It's a little Gemini in there.
Oh girl, Gemini.
Shut up.
Oh child, because
don't do me.
It's not like I've never seen it, but I'll be like, you had like a party, like baby,
girl, bye. Oh, I'll be in the corner somewhere talk about folks.
No, but I'm gonna tell you the reverse of y'all though. Mm-hmm. Y'all do the same things, you know that, right? So Gemini come and tell you and be like, you see this bitch, look at what this bitch did. And you'll be sitting there looking at the bitch crazy. And then they'll come back. I don't understand why didn't nobody like them. I mean, if they my friend, you should just accept them for who they are. I don't understand why y'all be tripping so hard. And girl, oh, y'all crazy as.
Listen, I want my friends to like each other, like enough to be in each other's presence, but not like each other enough that y'all think y'all can be friends without me. Like that's not that's not how this goes. No, ma'am.
So are you the type of friend? I got one more question because this is a good Gemini interview. Are you the friend that tell like, so what I do, I don't tell all my friends like all my business. Like I'll tell you a little bit and I'll tell her a little bit. Probably ain't gonna be the same thing. Like like I won't talk about the same situations, but it'll be like, I know this friend is good with this type of stuff, so I can tell her these. Like I don't share like all my secrets or anything like that with my friends.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I am the friend who I compartmentalize my friends. Like I have friends who like I love all my friends.
Wait a minute. Aries said you sound pretty controlling. Aries, you think? Okay, go ahead.
Mind your business, Aries. Aries, mind your business. Go ahead on now. Mind your business. But listen, I compartmentalize my friends. So I have friends who like got big mouths and I would never tell anything. I have friends who are a little promiscuous that I don't really want around my man. I have different friends for different things. Like my going out friends, I have maybe one friend that I can actually confide in. All my friends, I'm usually the ones that they come to me with their problems, but I don't really share, my own stuff with them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Listen, don't be sitting up here diagnosing me, taking notes, talking about I knew it. I knew it.
Baby, that's what I'm gonna do every time because the Sagittarius, we gonna read, child. We gonna read if we don't do nothing else, but just don't try to call me out. That's all. That's baby. It.
I know, but what's going on? What's tea?
Child, Blueface is tea, but I'm gonna read these super chats.
Okay.
Shout out to D-Mac the trucker. He says, salute ladies. That last show was a complete dumpster fire. I thought I was watching Who Gonna Check Us Boo 2.0.
Wow, D-Mac, you ain't go there, did you?
Baby, D-Mac went. You know what? Should I time D-Mac ass out?
Listen, you know what?
I can time him out just once, right?
Go ahead on, because I listen. You a Sag, so you gonna jump off the porch anyway. I don't have no say.
Really?
But
that's how you gonna do it. Because your ass got called out today. That's what you do. That's how you feel.
That last show was phenomenal, and there was nothing like it wasn't a who gonna check us. We laying it down. It literally was an interview, us interviewing someone as it relates to sex work and their experience and expertise on the subject matter. How was that I don't think that there's any comparison that could be made between the two, but okay.
Child, they sit around and talk mess, but they know that last show was popping. It turned out
so fire. I enjoyed that show.
Facts. It turned out to be an excellent conversations, which was that's the goal over here. I don't know what y'all doing, but that's the goal over here. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it was a conversation that's needed to be had. I
Yeah.
think we learned some different aspects of sex work. And then not just thinking of sex work as prostitution, but understanding the psychology, um, the marketing and like internet stuff. It was a lot of aspects to that show, and then actually having a real conversation, and that conversation actually generated this topic. And shout out to DJ Knopf, because he was the one who helped us come up with this topic.
Absolutely. And this is part two of a three-part series. So Monday was our first part in the series, and this is part two that we're going to be examining tonight. But I wanted to get into some tea first before we dive off. Oh no, you still got super chats. I'm sorry.
Okay. Shout out to Demetrius. He says, I'm a Libra. All my exes were Gemini women. It's like I'm cursed. Someone
What?
help me.
No,
Gotta
baby, you
talk them
blessed.
down and
Baby,
baby.
you blessed. Don't say curse. Don't lie now.
Baby, you blessed and cursed, because they two sides, baby, of the same coin. They like the devil.
Don't you look careful. you better
What?
go on
Did I
now.
lie?
Yes, you did. Lie through your teeth. You
Oh.
better stop playing.
Well, let me just say this so you don't feel like you have
Mm-hmm.
to take all the heat. See,
Mm-hmm.
with Sagittarians are the opposite polarity of Geminis, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we do share a lot of similar traits. Um, but I'm not nowhere near as crazy as y'all. Y'all just
Child,
y'all
look,
special
yep.
people.
Sagittarius are a whole nother story in and of themselves,
I,
baby.
I just think we're a bit
Y'all, y'all a
narcissistic.
lot. Y'all a
We
lot.
a
Y'all
lie.
require a lot. Yes.
Oh, I thought you
Don't
said we lie a lot. I was
a lot.
like,
Y'all are a lot.
oh,
Y'all.
facts,
Lord have
facts.
mercy. Mm,
Yeah, facts. I
too
require a
damn
lot,
much.
and I'm demanding as fuck, and I don't really like to give a whole
Think I
lot.
don't know? Wait, say that last part again. Look, I
Why
work
you
with you,
sound
so I
so
know.
enthusiastic,
No,
bruh?
I'm just
No, you
agreeing
ain't
with you,
talking.
sis. No,
I
sis,
don't need
I'm
you.
just
I don't need you to agree with me, ma'am.
no, I mean, I'm just saying. I agree with the conclusion that you've drawn.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I do require a lot, and the crazy thing is, I be thinking like I'm such a good friend, right? I be like I'm such a good friend. Like, I throw money at a problem. Like, if I see some, I be like, you need some money. If I got it, I give it to you. You can get your little money. That should help out a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should be good. But like, if you crying and shit, I'd be like, what you crying for? And
Oh,
then
baby, look. Y'all will look at somebody like they got a hole in their head, stare right through them, like
baby,
like crying. What the hell wrong with you? I'll be like, what the
I will
hell?
sit there and look at you like you have another head. And that's because I'm not necessarily attached to everybody's emotions. Um, I'm like the see it from both sides person. So I try to be objective, but I think I'm objective when it's not very necessary. Like, you're going
Mm-hmm.
through a freaking crisis and you're coming to tell me about something. And I'd be
Yep.
like, well, you should just see it from their side. They really didn't.
And the other thing with a SADS, like, ain't no change in their mind. Once their mind is made up about a situation, you can talk to you blue in the face. How they see it is how they see it. And I'd be like, God damn, like, oh my God, baby,
Facts.
y'all a lot, y'all a lot.
Facts. Shout
Mm-hmm.
out to Michael Metroke for the super sticker. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
And shout out to D Mac the trucker. He says, I never cared about the zodiac signs, but I'm a Sagittarius. Oh, mm.
Look, baby, that's why you hating on them Geminis. Sad just hate on Geminis. I'm just
Child,
saying.
hate on y'all for what?
Look, why wouldn't you? Look at us. What you mean? Baby, look at us. What the heck you mean?
Now, I'll say one good thing about you guys.
One good thing.
Gemini. Yeah, I'll say one good thing about y'all. Shit, I'm trying to give you some props. Take it, baby.
Okay, I'm listening.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, you really got the rub pour it on thick for them damn Geminis, baby. I swear
Yeah,
to God.
we like to be affirmed.
Listen. But I will say that Geminis tend to be some of the smartest people that you'll ever come across. Like y'all real smart, and y'all tend to have a really good hustle about y'all. So I don't know too many broke Gemini. So I think that's a great thing.
That is a good thing. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. It's a lot of good things about Sagittarius. Like Sagittarius are loyal. Sagittarius gonna ride with you, baby. Look, I'll be like, I need to go flatten these ties. You Sagittarius putting on their gym shoes before you even get the words out there. A Sag will ride with you. I am telling you, Sagittarius. Listen, they are confident, which I absolutely love. They are very personable people. Like people like being around Sagittarius.
Yes, because we're fun as fuck.
Yeah,
And
really and truly.
but we're the party sign. So yeah, honey. We are the
Definitely.
party sign. A shout out to Danica Marie's dope discussions. She said just stopping
Thank
through to
you.
show love,
Thank you,
peace.
sis.
Thank you so much, Danica. So D-Mac is a Sag, right? And so I'm wondering if he has mommy issues, because Sag is usually like the
Ooh.
men usually have mommy issues, or the women usually have daddy issues, which explains a lot of the masculine energy. But
Mm,
another day for another time, honey. But just to
that's
throw a little something
interesting.
out there. Yeah, honey. Okay. So let's talk about Blueface Bleedum.
Okay.
Listen, child, Blueface got him a little cult going on over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Blueface had these chicks up in some bunk beds,
What?
and he told them either they had to get a tattoo of him or get out.
What?
And I'm like, oh wow, where were the fathers? Where's the parenting? Like, what would you feel like you failed your children if your children were to do something like that?
I would disown my daughters. Like I ain't raised no dang on idiots. Don't listen. If my daughter was foolish enough to go and get a tattoo on her face, period, but of a freaking fool, she know not to come home to me. You know, my daughters no, listen. Yeah, I would disown my child.
So now if my son was to have chicks lined up like that,
He a Scorpio, so he just might.
girl, if
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can't say I would disown him, so to speak. Um, I don't know, because I have a boy and boys are different. And I
Would
am
you correct the behavior, or would you be like big up and I'm telling him he the man, he a player, go ahead, player? Like, what would your reaction be?
do you really want to know?
Yes, I do, because you laughed.
Oh shit. Okay. Um, so I kind of instill in my son. So I feel like some forms of masculinity is a bit primal. And I do believe in men kind of living their own way, going through life. And I
Mhm.
understand that life has problems, but I would I would tell him to do what he's going to do and get whatever he's going to get out of that situation. But
Mm.
there are consequences that come with everything, whether it's good consequences or bad consequences. And if you feel like that you want to take somebody's daughter and you want to have them in that situation to where they're in a certain situation with you, and you feel like that's necessary, that you need that, then you
Mhm.
need to understand the consequences that come with that, what consequences come from how they turn out, who they are as people, and create the life that you want around you. So I would tell him to go through with whatever situation, but to understand the consequences, because life does have a many of consequences. But um I kind of believe in letting people bump their head a little bit, because my mom would tell me all kinds of shit. My mom would give me, well, you don't need to do this because this is going to happen. You don't need to fuck with her because she's like this.
Mhm.
And I was a type of person who had to actually go through my own process with people before I would actually listen. And
Mm.
so I have found that experience has been my best teacher for the most part. But now I've gotten my ass cosmically whooped up and down life,
Mhm.
but it has made me a wiser and stronger person,
Uh,
mentally and physically and spirit. Well, not physically, but mentally and spiritually. it's made me a stronger person. So I'm not easily broken by everything. And so, yeah, that's probably what I would tell my son.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to think. Listen, Solomon gonna give you hell. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there.
Facts.
I don't know a
Facts.
male Scorpio who's not a whore. Like I don't know one. I don't. I've never come across one.
Honey, yeah.
Just be
And he's
ready.
got he's got a whole lot of heavy Scorpio, but what I do try to teach him already is
Mm-hmm.
a lot of self-awareness and understanding like who he is and his parts and situations. So,
Mm-hmm.
I really, really try to stay on him about being self-aware, and then not being a follower. So
Right.
I'm like, you shit, life is gonna have consequences. Hopefully he gets some more lessons in masculinity from his dad and from Curlin. Um, and I'm a mama, so
Yeah.
child, that's pretty much all I have with it.
Okay.
Cause
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and the way he be taught, like, I'm not gonna say he's not disrespectful when we talk, but his logic is like, oh shit, here we go. And yeah, child, I get worried. So yeah.
Well, prayers for you, boo. Prayers for you. I'm trying to think. It ain't been too much going on. I did want to ask you. I saw something that was kind of funny though. Um, did you see that the the video of Tyrese and his new boo?
Baby, let me read these super
Would you
chats.
let Curlin? Oh.
Shout out to Michael Mitro. Thank you for the
Uh-huh.
super sticker. And shout out to Jessica X. Thanks,
Thank you, Jess.
Jess.
Like the
I
new
love that
picture.
picture. It's so
So
cute.
cute. I
Right.
see you. But would you let Bro Curlin would you let Bro Curlin take care of you in that way? Huh? Listen, I'm just asking.
Mind your fucking business.
Okay, enough said, enough said, enough said. But
What about
anyways,
you? Concrete?
no, you look, don't even
Huh?
play.
Huh? What about
Listen,
you?
no, ma'am. I ain't even playing around like that. Come on now.
Really?
Ever.
No?
No. Mm-mm.
What if he was really like careful?
The only way I would do something like that is if I was pregnant.
Well, that could still happen.
Baby, listen, I ain't having nobody kids. He'll be a single father because I'm out. Mm-mm.
Concrete you out.
I'm out. What you
Listen,
mean? I ain't raising none of these little crumb snatchers. No. Yeah,
concrete. So
no.
you
I'm too
wouldn't
old. You hear?
no, but you wouldn't let him help you out in that way because you miss stuff.
To be
You know.
so much. To be completely honest, okay, so I trust my fiance explicitly. Like he is the very first man that I've been with that I could talk to about anything that I am just like as free with. Like, I mean, if I needed to wax under my armpit, I'd be like, babe, help me with this. And he would definitely help a sister out. But no, not down there. I'm good.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, I'm good on that.
Shout out to there. I said it. He says, Sister G and Concrete, your sons need to know more is expected of him than his female counterparts. Um, okay.
That more is
Yeah.
expected of him than his female counterparts. Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
Now I'm not trying to raise a Pookie or a Ray Ray. You know, I
Well,
don't.
I guess like you essentially raising the bar, you letting him know that there's a lot expected of him as a black young man growing into a black man in this country. I
Um,
think that was my take on it.
well, I basically want him to live life on his own terms. But to understand that with living life on your own terms, you need to understand consequences. And so, um, yeah, but my child is a bit spoiled. And I think that's me and his father's fault, but
Hmm.
it is what it is. He's still a good kid, still on a roll.
He don't come
Um,
off as spoiled. He seemed like a sweet baby.
child, that thing,
But kids are supposed to be
listen.
spoiled, in my opinion. So you know.
I think to a certain degree, but I think I probably get a bit more cautious when I see that the boy is spoiled,
Mm,
more so than the girl is spoiled, because I just don't think the world will allow him to be.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that becomes a difficult conversation for me because I'm like, um, you kind of have your own view as to what masculinity should look like. And then when kids are spoiled to a certain degree, especially boys, I think everybody starts to, "Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if he should.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm a bit cautious about that.
Okay.
Mhm.
I understand it. I mean, and it makes sense. I would be too. To be completely honest, real talk, I would be scared as heck if I had a black son. I'm not gonna lie. It's a scary time.
It really
Um,
is. It
yeah.
really is. Shout out to Sean. He says, as a man, you have to earn your value while women are born with inherent value.
Hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
Sean. Oh, Sean
Okay.
hitting it, girl. That's a good one,
Mhm.
Sean. Okay. But then, okay. So did you see Wendy Williams and Jocelyn?
I seen the stream, but I didn't click on it. What? I know they had a back and forth. What happened?
They had a back and forth because Jocelyn said that Wendy treats black women and brown women different from
Mm.
their Caucasian counterparts.
Oh,
I thought that
okay.
was so interesting, and I was like, but the way
So
I
she was saying
see,
she's nasty to black women and brown women, but nice to white women, essentially.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I thought that was real crazy. I was like, dang. Um,
Mm.
that was pretty interesting though, but it ain't really that interesting to talk about. What I did want to ask you about though is would you let your man respectfully cheat?
That's the oxymoron. I don't understand. Respect and cheat in the same sentence.
Listen, so your man might like a little strange every now and then. You go through your little week or whatever, you mean as hell, you got that rag on your head and shit. Your man just need to go get a little strange because you ain't feeling like it. You don't feel like being bothered. You just moody and you looking after them damn children and
Mm-hmm.
cooking and shit, and you gotta go to work. Damn report due. You ain't got that damn report in yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, gotta get some stuff done around the house. You having family coming in this weekend, but you tired. And your man he needs some taken care of. Should he have to wait for you? Can he respectfully cheat?
Um, no. Yes, he has to wait for me. No, he cannot respectfully cheat. There's no such thing as cheating respectfully. I don't subscribe to that. If I enter into a monogamous relationship with someone, which I did, the terms of that relationship cannot change unless it's something that we both decide. So, nah, I ain't going. What about you? What about you? Bro Curlin, may feel have a scratch that needs to be itched, and you it's your lady time, and you can't help a brother out, and he down here where the king of diamonds and the cheetah club at. Can he go get that itch scratched elsewhere?
Um,
Respectfully. Respectfully.
yeah, sure.
Oh, he can?
Yeah, sure.
No, you listen. You a Sag. What's the caveat?
He just gonna get stabbed when he come back. That's it. I
Okay,
mean,
okay, okay. There you go.
sure, do what
There
you
you
do.
go.
Have fun, enjoy.
Listen, there you go. I knew it was coming. The other shoe hadn't dropped. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work for me.
Yeah,
I'm
girl,
not. I didn't enter into an open
he can get that.
relationship.
He can get the other itch scratched with a knife. It's all good. I mean,
Me and my fiance are not into the life. None of that applies. So it's gonna be a no for me, dog.
oh god,
So,
shout out to
what if he
Wagner.
wears condoms while cheating?
Wait,
Ain't that a requirement?
no, listen, if he wears condoms, that's not cheating. Let y'all tell it. You know, let y'all tell it.
That's funny.
You know, if he wears a
Mm-hmm.
condom, it doesn't count. No, or you could respectfully cheat back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I had a friend. She said, "You F1, I F2." Like she told her husband this when they first started dating, and he proceeded to cheat. And she said, I warned you in the beginning, there's no need to have another conversation about it. Once you decide to cheat, you're essentially giving me the permission to sleep with two people for every one that I find out that you slept with. So, just be
I
prepared
like
for the
Sis's
consequences.
math. Sis's math is on point, honey. Sis should have been
Listen,
an instructor, honey. Her math, her algebra is lit.
I'm trying to tell you.
Shout out to D Mac the trucker. He says you can't cheat on C Rose. She like to damage property. Honey, Miss
Listen.
Goods herself.
No, that was the old me. I'm reformed. I'm reformed. I would never, ever, ever.
You know what, girl? Your new nickname is Canned Peaches, honey. Canned
No, baby, no. I ain't going. I'm not going for it.
Oh God.
It doesn't make sense to admit you would allow it. You know what? That's a good point, Darren. Though,
That
because
is a
I
good
do think
point.
that women who would allow it won't admit it publicly. They won't admit, not in front of women. Other women are going to judge them, so that's not something that most women would admit publicly.
Baby, you opening up the floodgates to your man, baby, because then
Listen.
and shout out to Virtuous Woman TV. She had said something one day like you know how to pick out a good man, so chicks know you know how to pick out a good man, and so you just gonna open up the door and be like, yeah, come on. Yeah, no.
Well, Sizzle and other women say that letting your man have a side chick it creates a healthy marriage. So
You
there's
know
that.
what? But it seems like people that have been in polygamous relationships tend to have like a lower rate of divorce. So I don't know.
So my friend who I was just talking about, who said if you F1, I'm a F2, she her relationship became poly. She was married to a Hebrew, and the relationship became poly, even though it was initially monogamous, and it didn't last. So it was 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off, and things went awry, and so not all the time, because that's another thing that we don't talk about, is like, just because a person is in a poly relationship or open relationship, if they go outside of the parameters that were set forth and agreed upon, they can still cheat too. Like, men in those relationships still cheat, and still, they may not be subscribing to the terms that
shout out to
everybody
David
agreed
Johnson. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah, definitely shout out to David. But that's all I got on that.
Okay. Shout out to Michael again for the super sticker.
Thank you, Michael.
It's so funny. He says y'all judge each other more than men do. Mark, that's absolutely incorrect. Y'all the ones who be shamed, but I know a few of y'all that'll stay in a relationship with a woman and cheated on you and talking about I done did it to her. So y'all probably have more pride than anybody. So gonna go there.
I mean, if you allow yourself to be disrespected, now listen, if a woman says I'm in an open relationship with somebody, I mean, that's your prerogative, but it's the women who seem to believe that they're in monogamous relationships with men, and the man cheats, and there's all these like dramatic events that happen in their lives as a result. They're fussing and fighting and going through changes, posting on social media. those are the women that I'm looking at crazy. Like, why are you enduring that? But if that's what you agree to, relationships are customizable. You design the relationship that best fits your needs, and that's the dope thing about it.
Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But look, honey, shout out to Darren Jones.
Thank you,
Yes,
Darren.
look,
Blessing us. Okay.
yes,
Appreciate you.
that's dope. He says, "Love the show. Just wanted to show support. Keep the content coming, ladies." Darren, you
Thank
know
you.
we
Thank
will.
you.
You know we are.
Absolutely. We
That's
appreciate you
dope.
so much.
This made my little heart smile, child.
Okay.
Shout out to Sean again. He says a man can cheat and still love his wife. A woman cheats and she is checked out of the relationship. How
I
do
want
niggas
to
keep lying
explore
to y'all like
that.
that?
I want
They
to
keep
explore that, but
lying.
I wanted to say, look at God. Darren blessed us like that, and you wanted to call in sick to work today, though.
Oh.
Look, if we wouldn't have been here, look, I tried to tell you,
Wait a
but
minute. So you just gonna let the dog from the bus jump on me?
listen, I'm
So you
just
just gonna
saying.
let the bus run over my little legs, huh? Okay.
Listen,
Set it
I'm
up.
just putting it out there. That's all. That's all. But Sean, regarding that super chat, a man can cheat and still love his wife. A woman cheats and she is checked out of the relationship. That's not always the case. Some women can give as good as they get. Like if you cheat on them, they may not be checked out of the relationship, but they are vengeful and they're like, okay, I'm gonna get you back.
I'm just sitting here laughing because I'm saying to myself, I'm like, bro, y'all act like all women have to attach emotions and shit to sex. And then y'all say y'all be red pill and y'all know about hoes, and then
Mm.
y'all be like, oh, they have to be like this and they have to do this um to have sex, and it's like then y'all be like, oh, but they're hoes. And bro, a lot of women can actually have a sexual relationship without any feelings. Now I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that feelings won't necessarily that they won't develop, but you have to do things to a woman for feelings to develop most of the time. But most women can do it. Yeah, guys, sorry.
Sorry to tell you. Yeah.
Sorry. Shout out to Rozzy. He says, I love black women. Y'all are
Ooh.
the best. Facts.
Rossi, would you tell these folks? Because I don't think they convinced, but I definitely agree with you, brother.
Thank
So
you
you
so
want to get
much.
off up into this topic though?
Listen,
Because we have to explore this, sis.
girl, what has happened to black women since they done gave us our freedom papers, baby?
Baby, since we have autonomy over our own sexuality, what's happened since then? What has changed? Because, a lot has changed in my opinion.
well, honey, I have a list.
Uh-oh, not the list.
Yes, I'm gonna read the super chat first.
Okay.
Shout out to And there, I said it. He says, as a so called self hating fence jumper, I can tell you other groups raise their boys knowing they are destined to lead women in their group.
Mm.
Thank you so much. There, I said it. I think that's an excellent point as well.
Thank you. Self-hating fence jumper. That's a new one. I gotta add that to the list. Appreciate you.
Okay. So let's see. I think women have, I'm going to give y'all the obvious ones.
Okay.
They've been able to have sex with whom and wherever they want to, however they
Okay.
want to, with multiple people. They've been able to sleep with um men and women at the same time, two men at the same time, two women. It's
Mm-hmm.
been crazy. Well, I'm not gonna say it's crazy because I don't want y'all, you sexy people, to come get me, quote unquote. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
um so they've been able to choose their sexual partners.
Mm-hmm.
They've had abortions.
Mm-hmm.
They've had lots of weight gain. They've been allowed to
Mm-hmm.
tattoo their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
They've consumed drugs and alcohol.
Mm.
They've tattooed themselves. they've gotten online to objectify their own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think they've been putting lots of weave. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. They've been
Um,
allowed to be hoes. You
mm-hmm.
know, they've been able to do whatever it is they want.
So I'm gonna just piggyback off of a few of those. Number one, they have the right to say no. So they've been
Oh,
empowered to say no because they have control, or um, they can dictate, what happens with their own body. So that's an important one. They get to make choices on how they dress, what they wear, how modest they are, or how much they want to show, how much skin they want to show. Um, they're free to walk away from relationships. They're not beholden to a relationship because of lack of resources. They are definitely more sexually uninhibited. They are getting it how they live. They are, um, you know, doing any and everything that they desire, whatever it is what makes them happy and that they enjoy. In addition to that, they have been able to make choices, and I think you touched on this one as it relates to terminating a pregnancy and how many children they have. They are able to, use birth control if they desire no more children, or they are able to make choices from jump to say, I don't want children. That's not the life that I want to lead. I don't want to be reduced, so to speak, to my reproductive activities. In addition to that, they also what's the word, are more open, I guess, and liberated in the way in which they operate. So you have women doing everything from slut walks to OnlyFans to posing sexy on IG. And I don't know if I would consider that them objectifying themselves, but they've taken, complete liberty and control over the decisions that are made as it relates to their own bodies. And those are some of the primary changes that I've noted as it relates to what's changed since Black women have complete autonomy over their sexuality.
mm.
Another one that I didn't think about, I'm sorry, really quickly, is some of them have decided that they don't want a man at all, that they don't even want to engage in relationships with men. So some of them are deciding that, they would rather be in relationship with other women.
Oh, child. Shout out to Karan Williams. He says the redheaded stepchild is back to be ignored and
Oh,
abused.
come on, don't do that.
Karan, you know that's concrete doing that.
I would never. It's mama. Mama! Where else city?
I'm so weak. Oh, no. Karan, ain't nobody ignoring you. Hey, Karan.
That's mama, baby. Listen. What is that?
What is what?
The echo that I was hearing. It's gone now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I have a question for you. We
Oh
talked
shit.
about
Let's go.
we talked about some of the changes that have been made. I want to know, in your personal opinion, do you feel as though things have changed for the better? With all the changes that we highlighted, are those changes that have been implemented, or those changes that have occurred as a result of the aforementioned autonomy that women now have, are those changes for the better?
Okay. So and this is gonna sound kind of crazy. So I think I have two parts to that. I think for women to be able to make their own choices is a great thing because I think everybody should or is supposed to be born free, right? But then you think about what freedom comes with, and then you look at the family structure, you look at the political structure, you look at how much power we're in, how the black family has been divided, how black men and black women are seemingly against each other, how the fathers are not in the home. And then I say, I think it's been more of a detriment than actually liberating into any real power. Yes, we have power over our own bodies and our own selves, but when it has excluded the man out of that situation, how much power do you really have in a system against against a system that is together with their men? And to me, there's power in numbers. So if you have a race that's divided, then it's everybody wants to be an individual, everybody wants to fight for their own rights, this, that, and the third. And so I just don't think it's a good power structure that we've built, being that the women do have a certain amount of equality, because I don't think any woman wants to really be equal. And then another thing is, women want to be equal as far as it comes down to sexuality and being paid the same in the workplace. But when it actually comes down to the work aspect of it, like most women are not going to get outside and build structures. Most of us are not going to work on building railroads or working with sewage. So I think that in liberation, to a certain degree, I think we've actually got out of sync with each other. What do you think?
Wow. I think that you made a phenomenal point. I absolutely believe that we are out of sync with one another. As it relates to whether or not the changes have been positive, I think that there have been some positive changes, but I think that there have also been a lot of negative changes that we can't ignore. I think the negative changes have impacted us in a horrible, awful way. I think that by us being out of sync with one another, that the division that has been caused by us being what's the term that I can use? I feel like, but being not in alignment with one another and outside of our traditional roles, quote unquote. I know that that's a triggering word, and that's how very pick me of me to use it. But us being outside of our traditional roles, I think that that's why there's a tremendous imbalance of masculinity being exhibited in women, because of some of the very changes that we've highlighted.
I'm gonna read the super chat and then I have a question for you. Shout out to Michael Metroke again for the super sticker. Thank you, thank you,
Thank you,
thank you.
Michael.
Um, Shout out to Y Skinner Man Cave. He says, I don't think there's any positive to it. Did you mention sex with married men?
No, I didn't mention that. I think that was happening before, but I didn't mention that. Thank you.
That is so interesting. Why would he say married men? Like,
Yeah, about that. I think that was
that's funny.
happening. Yeah.
That is funny.
Come on, it's that.
Shout out to Karan Williams again.
Oh my gosh,
Listen,
this guy. Don't
Karan.
even laugh at his shenanigans. Don't laugh at his shenanigans.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna be serious. Karan says, "See, Rose is impressionable. First, she was a sister wife. Now she is a feminine. She going to wind up on a compound with a hippie woman doing self-stimulation.
Oh,
Good faith. Ah,
time him out. Why you ain't ask if you could time him out, but you want to time out D-Mac? Karan, I still hold the same beliefs that I hold about about poly relationships. I said I entered into a monogamous relationship. Had myself and my partner decided that we would be in a poly relationship, I would be a sister wife and I would not be opposed to that. I'm saying like deceit. I'm saying someone changing the dynamics of our relationship on their own without it being some agreed upon terms. I'd have nothing against poly relationships, and I think they could be beneficial.
He got over this one, y'all.
Don't laugh at this fool. He said, I'm going to be on the compound with that hippie woman doing group self-simulation. Time him out. What you waiting on? Child, this man is a whole fool. No, he better not bring his tail up here.
Karan is a valued
Oh, wow. That's what you know? Now he a valued member. Oh,
Karan
wow.
is a valued member of the platform.
You know that?
Karan was one of our first members.
I don't give a dang about none of that. Let me log into this profile and time this fool out.
Alone.
You know you wrong.
I cannot stop laughing.
He's wrong. I didn't even read the whole thing. When I started reading, I'm like, no, this fool didn't. Low down.
Oh God. Oh God, that was good. Okay.
You said you got a question for me.
Okay. Yes. Now, how much control do you think should be taken away out of the things that we mentioned? Should some of those things be off the list?
For me, it's more of a either or situation. I don't think you could, like, some of the freedoms and some of the changes that have resulted in women having complete autonomy can be removed, whereas some of them can stay. However, if, just speaking hypothetically, I, hypothesize what would be beneficial for us to keep versus what should go.
Yeah.
I would say, I would say that definitely our right to say no has to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I think also, I don't remember everything that was said. I think
the
also,
sex, the abortions, the ability to get divorced.
I think our right to say no, our right to walk away from a relationship, our right to decide what we wear, our right to sexual freedom, and as it relates to abortion, I would say that would have to be situational. So a lot of the rights that we gained from women having complete autonomy, I think, are necessary, and are necessary for women who are not deemed property, are not like in some form of like chattel slavery. It's necessary for us to have some of those rights. So those are the primary ones that I think should remain, to be completely honest. And I have a question for you after the super chat.
Okay. Shout out to Karan Williams again. Thank you so much, Karan. Such a valued member of the channel.
Oh, no, he
ain't. For real. He says side chicks are the reason a lot of women are alive.
What?
Man,
I don't know about that.
We gotta get Sizzle back up in here.
Yeah, we definitely have to.
Yes.
I want to know, would you rather go back to the era when we did not have complete autonomy, or and all things that, all of the rights that we have today would be stripped away as a result? Or would you rather stay in our current era where our communities have been impacted? There is a strong division amongst Black men and Black women, but we have complete autonomy. Which would you rather?
Um, yeah, yo. Because I'm a person that likes to be able to do whatever I want when I generally want to. And so, I hate feeling like I'm being caged in somewhere, period. That it just doesn't go with me. But looking at the community and the cohesiveness of the community back then versus what it is now, um, I would actually say that since we've had complete autonomy, um, I don't think it's been more beneficial than it's not for the collective. But now, if you're looking at it from an individual standpoint, then everybody's putting themselves first. Men have to put themselves first. So if a man puts himself first and the man is selfish and the man isn't really concerned with community or anything like that, then that's not necessarily beneficial when he puts himself first and he doesn't care about the community. When a woman puts herself first and she doesn't care about the results of community, also not a beneficial thing. So it gets to be a little difficult for me to answer that because I can see why a woman would want her own freedom and why she would have such a desire for it. And then let me ask you this question. Do
Mhm.
you think men would actually want to do away with a lot of those freedoms that women have?
Um, I think if you ask the men in this space, heck yeah. I
Yeah,
think.
you know what? And this is what I'm curious about because if you ask a man, okay, exactly how much control do you want over a woman? Do you want to be able to control who she has sex with? Do you want to be able to control her reproductive rights? Do you want to be able to control her ability to vote? Do you want her to be able do you want to be able to control her fertility rights? We know you guys want to control divorce laws and child custody laws. We get that part because those are definitely not in your favor. But like how much control of a man does excuse me, how much control of a woman do men really want? And then when you think about it, a lot of men think of us as children anyway. Have you heard that a lot?
I've never heard that, but I think that
Hmm.
that is kind of like it reminds me of white supremacy, white androgyny, because that was kind of the same mindset that white people had as it relates to black people. But I do think that something to point out is that with control comes a large amount of responsibility. So, one thing that men may not be considering, if you want complete control over women, do you understand the responsibility that comes along with that? We have men complaining that they don't want to pay more than 50% of the bills right now. If you want complete control, you paying all the bills. If you want complete control, she has to come to you even if she wants money for tampons. If you will have a lot more responsibility, a lot more tasks that you also have to manage, and it will be like having an adult child that you have to manage for the remainder of your marriage. So I don't think a lot of men consider that.
Well, I also think about the uses that men have with women of the night, so to speak. Men
Mm,
love hoes. Men
mm,
love hoes.
say
Men
that.
love hoes. And so there was this show on I want to say Hulu called Handmaid's Tale. And so they basically went to like a very patriarchal or it's like a technocrat or techno like it was a company that was outside of the government. They basically took over the United States or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they went back to a patriarchal society. All of a women's rights were stripped away. They had to have a husband if they wanted to spend money. They had to wear dresses. They had to be covered from head to toe. And in the midst of that series, there was a woman and she was the star of the show, but she ended up sleeping with this guy, right? Like one of the uh people that ran societies or whatever. So he ended up taking her to like an underground spot, and the underground spot had ding, ding, ding. You already know there were hoes there. And so I'm sitting there and I'm kind of wondering, okay, men say they don't like certain aspects of women, but yet and still, they are the first to patronize these women. They like to look at naked women. Black men and black women are the biggest consumers of porn. It's just very interesting when we talk about what we don't really want, or we say what we don't really want, but yet we still participate in a lot of those things. And I just kind of I find it to be really hypocritical, to a certain degree, because it's like y'all say y'all don't want feminism, but y'all participate in it quite a bit. But I'm getting
Well,
ready to drop this link. What's
go
up?
ahead and drop it. I think that, there is definitely some hypocrisy, but we had men last week that said, who was that? Someone came on this panel and said that just because men want to have sex with hoes, like we like that we're conflating points. That yes, they want to sex hoes, but that doesn't mean that they want to marry them. But I do have one final question for you while you drop in the link.
Okay.
I want to know. I'm sorry. Oh, I lost my notes. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. I lost my notes. So bear with me just 1 second. Dang. Oh, okay. I know what it was. What, if any, what, if any, is the positive outcome of Black women having our own autonomy over our sexual liberation? Like, what is the positive outcome, if there's any that you can highlight?
Okay. Being that the rates of having children has gone down, so we're not creating as many children into a messed up society. Also, women have become more enrolled into school. They may not be the most educated, but it is a step to actually get enrolled in school, and to be able to go and learn and to be educated. The fact that women are have become their own political power. Um, so with the way Stacey Abrams led Atlanta, with
Mm-hmm.
the Biden vote,
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge thing, because at one point Black women didn't have any political power. But I think that being that women have stuck together on in that aspect, um, business ownership,
Mm-hmm.
women are building businesses faster than you can say one, two, three. They're on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that those are some good things, but also being able to contribute to an economic structure alongside a husband, if you have, or a man if you have one, or a woman, you're still able to build your own economic structure within this system. So I do think that that's a plus.
Wow, those are some good ones, Danny. I agree with all that. Definitely on point.
Okay. Okay. So we have up here Mr. Karan.
Kawan, you owe
Hey,
somebody on the panel an
Karan.
apology. I ain't gonna say who it is, but you owe somebody up here an
Mm,
apology.
First of all,
Oh my
oh,
god.
everything that Sister
First,
George just said was bullshit.
oh,
You gotta call it out, but
oh,
I'm on your ass.
oh.
but
Let me
he's a
drop this
value
in.
member though. Remember that. Bring that value member back. Bring
Drop
Nah,
his
but
ass
for
down.
real, you gotta look at it, the outcomes. First of all, this whole thing is white people's talking points. Shahrazad Ali said it best. Those was white women problems. Those was never our problems. We was always, because of our history, we always had a partnership. Black women, it wasn't a problem with black women working because they didn't want black men working and they wouldn't pay black men a fair wage. Black women always had to work. Black women always had jobs. So then the Stacey Abrams bitch, What the fuck did that bitch do for black women?
Oh.
What did she do
What
for
did she do?
What did she do for who?
Let me say this. If you are sitting here as a black man and you're telling me that you trust any political party that wasn't started by a black man, please don't tell me you think that these people have your best interests at heart, Republican, Democrat, or independent. I know better.
You
I'm
brought up
saying
Stacey Abrams.
no. So what I'm saying
And
is the fact I'm gonna say why I brought up Stacey Abrams. The fact that, and I'm not saying that the political party that they went after was right or wrong. I'm saying the fact that they were able to organize and get themselves a power like that, to build a power structure. Having a power structure is a part of having power. So if you're able to get out and you're able to organize and to build that, that is still something big, whether you like who they're voting for or not. It's still a thing.
All right. So
yeah,
that is not what a power structure is. I'm going to explain to you what a power structure is. This is what a power structure is. Half of Hispanics vote Republican, other half vote Democrat. They still get shit. Half of Asians, most Asians don't even vote. They still got shit before black people got shit. That's power. We don't have power. We have symbology.
We have
symbols. We have shit that look good.
Yeah. Okay. So then, I wouldn't have heard so many black men complaining when Goldman Sachs said that they were going to give black women $10 billion over a course of 10. Did he leave?
He ran.
Drop the link. I don't think he ran. You
No,
know,
I'm just playing.
Yeah, but so to build a power, you have to have it's layers to it. The fact that these women were able to organize and go vote and to get out there and to organize that is a thing. If it were men would say that would be a thing too. So yeah, child. But Sean, hey, welcome.
Hey, Sean.
What's up, ladies? How y'all doing?
Not too shabby.
Good. How are you?
Good. Karan's back.
But you go ahead, Sean, because
on some bull.
But it's funny when you guys asked the question earlier. You said if men still had control over a woman's body, what would we want to give up? And just to answer that question, I wouldn't want control over a woman's body because I like what we have now. You know, a woman's body, her choice, her freedom to do whatever she please with her body. But I say that with a caveat because sometimes I think that what women, and this is for, straight women that ultimately want to be in a relationship with a man sometime down the road, but for right now, want to do whatever she pleases with her body. I think that women seem to forget that just like a woman cares about a man's future, us men, we care about a woman's past. We care about her body count that she has had in the past, and that factors into, who we want to ultimately have a relationship with. Take for example, like a lot of you'll see like a lot of porn stars that ultimately now they seem to regret going into that industry, going into that business. Ultimately, it was their choice, but they have regret because of the fact that they're looked down upon by, well, I don't want to say looked down upon by society, but they get a lot of strange looks like, oh my God, that was so and so in that porn that they used to watch. And I think that women kind of seem to not keep that in mind when they're ultimately doing what they want to do with their body.
So you're saying that you like it the way it is now. You wouldn't take away any rights if you had the choice.
No, I wouldn't, because and also earlier, Sister George, you I sent the super chat and you said that when I said that a woman can have when a woman has sex, she's checked out, but a man can have sex with his wife and still be emotionally attached to his wife. And what I kind of meant by that is it's a lot easier for women to get sex than it is for men. I think we all know that. That's true. That's not rocket science, And with that being the case,
$40, bro.
What's that, Karan?
For a prosty.
Well, no. I mean, but it's easier for women, because I mean, basically, a woman, all she has to do is just show up to the guy, be attractive, look good, be pretty. Guy wants to have sex with her, but us men, we have to bring some sort of value to a woman in order for a woman to say, "Oh, okay, that's the guy that I want to, have sex with." Women aren't just going to have sex with any Joe off the block. That guy has to have some sort of value that attracts that woman to him. And the woman knows that because she can, like I said, all she got to do look pretty, be fit, be feminine. She can have sex with pretty much most of the guys out here, and so that's why I said that when a woman does choose to have sex with another man, and if she's in a relationship with her husband, then she's checked out.
It would be nice to think that women still had those kind of thought processes, and I know it feels like a kind of like a pinch to certain thought processes that men have been taught. But if you're saying that you guys are red pill and you understand female nature, then you have to understand that things have never ever, I don't think things have ever been like that. I think men tell themselves things to make themselves more comfortable. But I want y'all to kind of stop feeding yourselves the lie.
Well, okay. What do you explain? What do you mean by
that?
You say that a woman
niggas and go home to their husbands and kiss them dead
really,
on the mouth.
Karan? Why you got to be so crass?
I'm sorry, but that's essentially what she's saying. A woman will sleep with another man, come home and kiss you dead in the mouth, like
pretty much.
Brush her teeth. Like
pretty much.
You feed yourself a lie, bro. That pretty is a much. Lie.
And if you talk to guys that were if you talk to guys that were players, guys will, and I've heard so many stories about guys being on the phone, like they're around somebody else's woman, and the husband calls, and they'll tell the man to be quiet while they're doing whatever they're doing. And it's been some really, really harsh stuff. So it's like, I kind of want y'all to kind of get out of the fairy tale that women are supposed to be sugar and spice and everything nice. And it's just not like that, baby. It's not like that.
They do the country voice. So, but you know what it is? Kevin Samuel said it, and this is historically accurate. If you look, the arrangement has always been, I give you exclusive rights to my finances, what I've gained through my productivity. You get my money. You get my resources. I get exclusive rights to your body, to your reproductive system. That was always the agreement. That's why cheating for men looks different than cheating for women. Because as a man, I express my loyalty to you in a different way. Mm-hmm. I express my loyalty by paying all your bills.
Well, things have changed. Now you're expecting a woman to express her loyalty by paying half the bill, so you need to express your loyalty.
But you know what? When
he got his, by keeping your penis in your pants.
Wait a minute, Country. When he got his ass up here, the first thing he said was, "Women have always been by black men. Women have always worked." Ain't that what he said?
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, that's a fact. I'm just saying that was the. I'm talking about when you go back even further than that. You talking about a recent history.
Mm.
I would
history goes back. Period,
I'm talking about. See, a lot of this stuff that I talk about talks about pre-colonialism. I'm talking about 20,000 years ago when there were no white people, because white people was a new invention. I'm talking about back to when we was in Africa hunting and had the duck lions and shit. That was the agreement. I'll protect you. You sleep with only me.
Things have changed.
And then you really have to think about it, Karan. Something had to go haywire for white men to be able to come into to Africa back then and to buy and trade human beings that were also sold by, you guessed it, Africans.
That is another thing that is I don't want to say a fallacy, but it's a big exaggeration. They weren't doing that. They've always come in, even with the Arabs, because the Arabs started that shit. The slavery started way before. The Arabs in the Arab nations still have slaves till this day, and they was doing it long before these crackers over here. So you always had that, and then you do have some, but it wasn't on some shit like, oh, I'm just selling my own people to get money. You would have white people with guns go into a village that didn't have no guns, shoot some
And
people, and say, "You go
no,
catch
they
them
were
niggas."
trading. They were trading them for guns and all different kinds of things. They were
That
trade like
wasn't
that
what
was
I'm
true.
saying is that wasn't as prevalent as niggas like the coons and shit like, oh well, black people was selling black people. That wasn't as prevalent as niggas make it seem. What they would do was they would go in, they would kill a bunch of people. They would kill a couple people with guns. We didn't have guns at that point. They would take the women. This is what they've always done. They take the women. If you want these women back,
spoils of
you
war.
have to go over there and steal some people.
You are
Well,
killing me.
let's not act like Africa was this big old place of unity. Even in recent years, Africans are very tribal. They fight with each other. There are Africans who will still, like, there's albino tribes, and they feel that the albino, there's something that they will go and hunt albino people, chop their arms off, chop them up, like they eat them. There are African tribes, and this is like within the 20th century.
Genital mutilation and all that, but
absolutely, but it's not like all
thing,
united over there.
I'm not saying that it was united. What I'm saying is that historically, we were not as violent a people as they are. And if you listen,
I agree with that.
Sis,
and that's why they was able to come
please, just listen to me. I did the research. I'm about to tell you where you can go find this shit. Go look at the CIA archives and the shit that has been exposed. All the shit that's going on in Africa, the United States government, England, Israel, Germany, they are promoting. All it takes is, just like with slavery, when I told the sister the other day, all it takes is one nigga, one bad apple to spoil a bunch. So now you got niggas that's in the pocket of these white men starting, just like you got over here. You got niggas starting shit. But fuck all that. What I was talking about is today with women have the illusion of power. If you look back to the 60s, when 80% of you were married, and you had Shirley Chisholm, Kathleen Cleaver, Minnie Mandela, you had all those black women who had fucking husbands. And if you go back and you read Edgar Hoover and the United States government, the president, they were so fucking terrified of us that they did everything to break that. They're not scared of us now. So what power you got?
They're not scared of us because of the fact that they were able to find a better stronghold than any of their physical threats could have been. They mentally conditioned us through religion, through the school system, through media. Like, that's why you have so many of us using their talking points to denigrate one another.
Sis, we were more into religion back then.
Yes, our religion was different. Spirituality, we practiced Vodun and all kind of ancient African religions.
I'm talking about in the 60s.
Yeah, but this is, they used Christianity to mentally enslave us.
Concrete Rose. In the 60s, you have more black people in church than you do now.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a mass exodus. Black men are leaving the church. We are realizing that this shit is bullshit. We are leaving the church in mass. Black men are leaving. It is not that. It
wasn't really black men that bought into it in the way in which black women did, but I agree with you.
But what's happening now is niggas have the illusion of freedom. Mm-hmm. Because you could pop whatever drug you want to pop, fuck whoever you want to fuck, you think that you free. Niggas is in the matrix now.
So
we don't have any power. We had in the 60s, before integration, before second wave feminism, before black women took on this intersectionality and this feminism shit, before we got on that bullshit, we owned our communities. We owned our homes. We owned shit. We had a power base and we couldn't even vote. We had more power when we couldn't vote.
So my question to you is, if of all the aforementioned things that we mentioned, if you could take any of those things away from black women, What would you take away? What would you keep?
See, and this is the problem with black women. It's the problem with that mentality. I think that somebody is trying to take anything from you. Nobody's trying to take anything.
Well,
hold
phrase it how you want to phrase it.
I'm telling you,
it's not how black women
I'm
think.
not trying to take anything. I wouldn't take anything from black women. The whole thing, when you watch Kevin Samuels and you watch, niggas ain't trying to take nothing from y'all. They trying to give you something. It's called accountability.
Sir, so for people want to hold us accountable for things, that means there has to be has to have been a consequence of something else. So if we're able to have sex with whom and wherever and whomever we want to, and men are saying, okay, well, a lot of out of wedlock births have resulted from that. So that's one of the things that I think I probably would take away. Or the fact that women are able to have abortions and men don't have any control of their reproductive rights. Men will say, well, I don't want them to have control of that. Somebody in the comments just mentioned welfare. Men, some men might not want women to have welfare. So I'm asking
any kind of aid or resources because they feel like if that aid is causing.
So let me ask you this. So let me ask you this.
I don't want nobody to have welfare.
Karan, we ain't trying to go back into your job history, darling. Let me ask you this.
This man did everything from stripping to social work.
I ain't never did stripping. Get out of here.
Porn to social work.
I ain't never did porn either. I ain't on nobody's website.
Never mind.
I think I saw. Okay, so how much control do you think black men should have over black women?
I don't think it's a control thing. I don't like the.
If it was a control thing, how much control?
I don't think that it's a.
You mean to tell me you are sitting up here afraid to take your damn power from a woman?
He want to play semantics. He want to play.
No,
semantics.
it's
you
not.
mean to tell me that you
words have power.
All these complaints. Listen. You got all these complaints about women not being accountable, women not holding up for this, women out here hoeing, women out here fucking any and everybody, women out here spending all their money on bullshit. And you mean to tell me you don't want to control none of it? What the fuck are we doing here, bro? Talk to me.
Can I say what I was going to say? Can I answer your question?
Yeah.
Can I answer your question?
I'm gonna shut up.
All right. Now,
what Tony said, black men don't even have control over black men. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm because I don't like the word control. I don't want there to be a sense of control. I want there to be more of a sense of community. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But what happens is people don't understand that there are consequences for their actions. Like old girl that came on a joint early on Monday. She was talking old Rosie. You get a bunch of young, impressionable girls. Oh, I'm gonna get an OnlyFans. Then when they're 35 and they're not making money on OnlyFans like that. First of all, none of them bitches like that is making money on OnlyFans right now. But when they're not making money on OnlyFans, when the balloon bursts on OnlyFans, because OnlyFans is new, that balloon is gonna burst, just like it burst when we used to pimp on Backpage. It was the newest shit. It was the wave. We was getting so much money. That bubble burst. So now, because nobody has told these women, yo, there's downsides. Get all your money now, because when you watch a lot of these porn stars, they can't even find men that are willing to kiss them. So now when you're seeking companionship, that might be a problem. But nobody tells these people this. That's all I want. That's all I want for the kids. Like, just telling niggas the drawbacks, because that's what nobody never gave me. Give me both sides of it. You know, when they brought me home to the gang and I started banging blood and all that shit, it was the greatest shit in the world. I thought I was gonna be the greatest thing ever. Niggas never told me about nothing. And then I wound up on a school to prison pipeline. Niggas never told me this shit.
Yeah.
If you had told me that, you might spend the rest of your life in prison, I'd have been like, nah, nigga, this ain't for me. I'm not trying to do that.
So you didn't find anything wrong with objectifying women and subjecting them to, selling their bodies, like you, without anybody telling you that it was wrong. You
because he was in the peep, right? He was a peep at some point, right, Karan?
Huh?
He was a peep at some point, right?
I mean, First of all,
You
see,
didn't
you
have the
don't know,
moral base to
you
say.
don't, hold on. First of all, you don't know my story. First of all, I was a homeless
I'm
teenager.
asking.
All right,
Okay,
hold on.
so yeah,
I'm telling
enlighten us.
Concrete Rose. I'm telling
Enlighten
Concrete
me.
Rose what happened. Listen, I was a homeless teenager. When I first got into the sex industry world, I was in Soho selling crack, and one of my friends was a gay nigga, and I used to hold him down while he used to do what he do. I used to be there with his gun and make sure nobody did nothing to him. Then I started meeting these white girls that come from Kentucky that want to be models, and none of them wound up being models and shit like that. And they get into prostitution. I started off on the protection route, and then I started meeting prostitutes who were like, yo, all right, I want you to be my pimp. Then I started to learn the pimping game. I never forced nobody to do nothing. Like Goldie
I'm
No,
not
said
you
it
was a
best.
P, but but you was a
Hold on.
P.
Goldie said it
But,
best.
but
The
you
bitch
know what,
tells me,
Karan? I'm gonna tell you where it sounds fucked up at.
what?
Because then you say you came out of a certain place and nobody schooled you, and then it's almost like you're saying that you didn't really have a concept of what was right and what was wrong, but it was mainly about survival to you. But then you kind of all over the place, man.
Who what? I was 14 years old. I was homeless.
You
I would have
wasn't
did
the first
anything.
person that was homeless.
Huh?
You wasn't the first person that was homeless.
Yes, I
Somebody
was 14.
failed you, though. I want to tell you that somebody failed you, because there's no way that a 14-year-old young man should have been out on the streets with no place to live. And that needs to be acknowledged.
Oh no, I was crazy.
Regardless, there's resources. You don't throw your baby out on the streets.
I mean,
No,
listen,
but
it
if
is
you
what
got a
it is.
mama and a daddy that's in the streets themselves,
Oh no, see, I don't want you to get the wrong impression. I started gangbanging when I was 10 years old. So I started gangbanging, I started shooting at people. Niggas started shooting back at me. Niggas shot up my mother crib. I went down south. They sent me to North Carolina. I started shooting at the Ku Klux Klan down there. The Ku Klux Klan was going to hang me from a tree. I just was shooting at people. So I came back
I
up
just want to say,
north, and my mama put me out.
I understand that, but I want to say, even if you have parents that's in the streets, like that's in the streets and doing whatever too, that still doesn't negate the fact that if your child is living on the streets, that they failed you. Like, there's resources. She could have sent you to Dr. Phil and let you go to Scare Straight something.
Wasn't
But
no Dr. Phil back then.
listen, I'm
it was
just
Sally
saying.
Jesse Raphael back then, baby.
Right,
No, Dr. Phil.
or Jenny Jones or something.
Jenny Jones, baby. Ricky Lake.
Yeah.
I mean, but see, and that's why from my experiences, I always say we need to sit children down and explain to them the negatives that can come from these decisions.
But you're afraid to take control over your women in your community. You don't want the responsibility of that control.
I don't want to control. I want to make an agreement, because if I control you, you're going to push back from that control.
Okay,
but if we make an agreement and agree upon stipulations.
Okay, but this is the problem. Black men and black women have not been able to come to any agreements because everybody has their own control. Do you see where I'm going with it?
We used to, when we had power, we had agreements. You know, it was certain ways. First of all, this whole shit go back. This shit go back forever. There's always been a class of women deemed as hoes. The new thing is it's the wave to be a hoe. That's the problem now. It's the wave to be a hoe. Back then it wasn't, but it was always been hoes. It's always been hoes. It's never been.
Well, I'm going to read this super chat. A shout out to Mr. Curlin. He says, I don't think that brothers really want or can handle that level of control. It's a lot, to be honest. I do think dudes want it how it is now, with a greater level of influence over how women move as a community. Babe, I think that's a really, really good point. Karan, what do you think about that statement?
I said it on Monday. You women thought that women thought that they were freeing themselves and they were freeing each other from men's control. This shit is the best. I don't have to get a family and work 50 jobs. I could just slide in somebody's DM to get some pussy. I could just slide in the DM and she's sexually liberated.
So it benefits men in that way.
She a boss bitch. I ain't even gotta pay for an Uber. I ain't gotta feed her. I ain't gotta pay for an Uber, nothing.
This culture that's being created absolutely benefits men as it relates to like the casual sex and how easy it is to get, that it's free or $40 or what have you. There's no expectations as it relates to courting. And I think though that is why some men get frustrated by women who expect to be courted. It's like I can scroll down my timeline and find 5 different women who don't expect to be courted and will give it up, but you want me to court you? How dare you? So it's really messing up the game for women who are traditional or are dating intentionally, but it's making it quite beneficial for men.
That's funny you said that, Concrete Rose, because I was around dudes, right? And the demographic that I work with is at-risk youth, the 18 to 24. And one of my kids came to me one day and he's like, yo, can you believe this bitch want me to take her out and buy her flowers to get some pussy? Like, I gotta take her to Red Lobster. This bitch crazy, man. She better just pull up. I'm like, homie, but that's what you spot. Man, nah, you ain't gotta do that nowadays, OG. You ain't gotta do it no more.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gotta do it no more. All you gotta do is slide the DMs.
Wow. Just wow. Well,
I'm going to say something that Concrete Rose just said. It's funny you said that men are frustrated that we have to court. We have to court the woman. I disagree with that. We are frustrated because we have to court the woman, and the reason why I say that is because, okay, let's look at it like this: men, we have to have some sort of value to be able to approach the girl. Okay. And after that, we get our value. We've got to approach the girl. After we got to approach the girl, we have to ask the girl out. Hopefully the girl says yes. And if the girl says yes, we have to take her out for dinner. We have to do so much, and all a woman has to do is just look pretty, And the reason why I say that is because we're not frustrated that, we have to court. We're frustrated because of the fact that nowadays, an average woman thinks that she's better than an average guy. That's what we are frustrated about. And I think 70-80% of the male population is pretty much average.
You know what's crazy though, Mr. Sean? I think that average men get upset that another man who doesn't have to do anything can get the pussy. I think that if most men had that opportunity to be that guy, they would. I think that men are mad, or they get mad with women because these women don't give them the ass as easily. They'll make you work for it, but give it to this other guy over here for free, and it's nothing.
I'm gonna disagree with that because, okay, you are partially right in that. It seems like guys nowadays, we're like, okay, well, we're just hardworking men. We make $50,000-$60,000 a year. What is wrong with us? But we get the last laugh in the end because, like you said, the guy that has his shit together, makes, I guess, close to $100K. He's the one that all the girls are giving a pussy to. Like you said, you're right. But what's funny about that is that same girl, she's just giving a pussy to these guys that earn close to $100,000, and as she gets older, she gets in her late 30s, early 40s. What we're upset about, oh, okay, now she wants to come back to us, and she expects us to take her when she's got mileage on her body. We couldn't get her when she was at her best, but now we got to take her while she's at her worst? No, guys are not going for that.
So yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But I think that's why most guys are mad. And it's because y'all don't really have any control over that. A woman can have sex with who she wants to, and then she can actually come back and have the audacity. She can actually have the audacity to come and ask you if you want to be the stepfather to her 3 kids by 3 other men. She can do that.
But now, and now women are also getting upset because they're saying, oh, wait, why does he want me? I've got 3 kids with 3 different baby daddies. What's wrong with me? You don't see the foolishness in that? I mean,
Oh, I
that
see
is
all
true.
of the foolishness. Oh,
Yeah.
I definitely see
I
it.
see that too every
But-
day. Like women feel as though you're saying I'm not valuable because I have these kids, that you're judging me because I've had these children, because I made these decisions and laid down with these men who decided to bail. Like, yeah, that's a good point, Sean.
men don't want to clean up another man's mistakes. Men, we want to do our own legacy. And we're being chastised, we're being labeled as villains because we're calling women out on that. We're being labeled sexist, misogynist, just because we want to create our own legacy. We don't want to take care of another man's kids.
I think
So how
Obsidian
much
has something
control
to
do
say.
you want to have over women? Hi, Obsidian.
Hey.
Oh, did you see our show on Monday?
No, I didn't. I was busy taking care of some other stuff. How you guys doing?
I think you would have liked it. We doing good.
Yeah.
This type too.
I would like to go right into the point that Danielle said. I think that yeah, a lot of guys, they're winners and losers in the sexual revolution. And the average guy is one of the losers.
Yep.
And to be brutally frank about it, nobody cares.
Facts.
I think that's to our great detriment, particularly in Black America, because if you don't have the foot soldier guy, you lose.
True.
So, us not caring about the average at best guy is not a good thing for the community.
Absolutely.
It's not. You got to give them buy-in. That means having their own. But JJ, he has to own it. If he doesn't own it, he has no reason to fight for it. No reason to die for it. No reason to go to the wall for it. Nobody wants to go to the wall for the village bike.
Can I offer a different perspective, Obsidian? I just would like to offer a different perspective. I currently am celibate because I work 3 jobs. When I first came home from jail, I've never gotten more pussy in my life. I tell Black men all the time, you will never know the difference a couple thousand push-ups make in your life. See, women are visual. I am not an attractive dude. I just work out. It's just that simple. So now these dudes complain, but they don't compete. You gotta have, like, I'm short, I'm bald, I'm blonde. I know the strikes that are against me. I'm not fat. I'm not never gonna be fat. These dudes, they want to complain, but you gotta compete in the way that you can compete. Homie, Planet Fitness is $10 a month. Niggas got noodle arms, emaciated chests. You don't need to make $100,000 to get pussy. This is the sexual liberation. Do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, and you'll be all right. Really.
I like to respond to that. I think that that's true. There's a degree of truth to that. If you want, the rank and file Black woman that's into that sort of thing, that would be true. But for guys like me that want the best, it's not going to be about weights. It's going to be about brains. And the better off sisters recognize the guys with the brains, and they tend to pair off with them. See, what's really happening here is that there's a class component that nobody wants in Black America. We're very skittish about talking about class. I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much angst with regard to Kevin Samuels' High Value Man. Because really what you're talking about there is class. In the upper classes, this isn't the problem. This is the problem for the lower classes. It's well documented. This is the problem for the lower classes. This is where the sexual revolution, not just in Black America, white America too, but definitely in Black America, has been, very bad. It's had a very adverse, negative impact. As a matter of fact, there's a kind of a dysgenic mating pattern going on there, and it doesn't really work. I think the real question, because the two of you ladies were asking a question about what Black women have gained, and I would like to present it this way.
Mm-hmm.
There are no solutions. This is what a Black economist named Thomas Sowell once famously said. there are no solutions. There are trade-offs. The real question, I think, for a lot of Black women is, what trade-offs have you made to get this, autonomy over your body? What are the trade-offs? And are those trade-offs worth it?
I think that overall, I don't really see that it's worth it for a community as a whole. I absolutely don't see it being a
But
good
even if you
trade-off.
think of individually, like if I'm trading off my for autonomy, to have sexual liberation, I no longer get the protection and the respect of the men in my community. I no longer am afforded, some of the things that I otherwise would have. You have to sit back and think about that and say, wow, like even individually, how does this impact me, and is it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, take the whole street harassment / Black women aren't being protected thing, right? So we have enough evidence over the past 5, 6, 7 years on social media, seeing this all the way from you okay sis to just ad hoc, sisters kind of ad hoc making these arguments on places like YouTube and Facebook. So do we honestly believe that all of these women are just celibate? Are we believing that all these women are just unconnected, not having any sexual partners? They're just single women, basically spinsters who, need, community group protection from Black men. We know that's not true.
Absolutely.
They're having sex with men.
No,
The obvious question that we have to ask is, how come they aren't turning to those men that they're having sex with to protect them?
Because it's casual sex. Those men aren't sticking around to offer protection. They gave them a wet tail and some bubble gum.
Hard digging bubblegum.
Right. And that's one of the trade-offs.
But you got to understand, Obsidian, that a lot of this, and I say this all the time, a lot of this shit online is just games and talking points. Like, it's a lot of people talking a lot of shit. These women talking about dating down and all of this bullshit.
I'm not talking about dating down. I'm talking about.
I'm just talking about in general. I'm just talking about.
I'm talking about Black women over the past about 7 years.
And that's a lot of bullshit. That is propaganda.
Repeatedly making these claims, and I'm saying, we know in the case of quite a few of these ladies, they have children, so there's clearly a baby daddy or two in there. With the number of these Black women have made it clear that they like to let their freak flag fly, which I have no problem with. The obvious question has to be, and I understand why they don't want to have conversations with guys like me, because they know I'm going to ask them, why can't you get the guy that you're offering yourself to on a platter to protect you?
Because she's giving up for free sexual liberation.
Right.
But then at the end of the day, what you got to understand, like I said, these are just talking points. The white man is 6 times more likely than any other race combined. That's any other race combined to stalk and rape women.
But I'm not talking about stalking and raping women.
I'm just saying. So
a question.
Black women aren't safe.
But I'm not.
Black women aren't safe. White women always ain't safe. White women are not safe.
I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about Black people.
Let me ask y'all this. Would y'all agree that other races of women, other races of men have control over their women?
I don't even know if I would go that far to say that. What I would say is that other races of men and women have figured out a way to work together to get what each other wants. Black men and Black women don't want to figure out a way to get it. We want to get something from the other person by hook or crook.
Yeah.
Well, also, let's keep in mind, and this is something I think that we as a Black community kind of, I don't want to say struggle with, but have lost the meaning of. When a woman gets married to a man, the woman's father gives away his daughter to the husband so that the husband can protect her.
Ain't no fathers no more.
That's where the protection comes in at. But I think that we seem to have lost touch with that. And also, I just quickly want to touch on the whole dating thing. Social media has really just given us a really distorted view of the dating scene, because I think we all know Black women are the biggest consumers of social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, so forth.
Where
Black
did you
women.
get those stats from?
Where did I see that at?
I've seen the same statistics. I saw these like a decade ago.
I think it was US. I think it was USA Today or somewhere I was reading, but I especially noticed to be true on Twitter because I'm on Twitter all the time and I see, just a lot of stuff. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, Black women use social media a lot. We all know that to be true.
Yeah, I agree. And the real question becomes, for a lot of Black women, I mean, see, this is the bottom.
Well, he didn't finish his point, Obsidian. I wanted him to finish his point real quick, and then you can get in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, because you get average looking women, they post pictures on Instagram, they get a few thousand likes, and all of a sudden that becomes, oh, I got all this attention. So they seem to think that they can elevate themselves above the average guy and not realizing that the majority of the population is average looking. And that, to me, I just want to point out, that's what has distorted the whole dating scene, because you get a few thousand likes on social media. That seems to be your new dating standard. Oh, I'm better than you because I got a few clicks, on my picture I posted the other day. And now all of a sudden you end up, I don't know what, dating or not dating, to end up sleeping with a rapper. That's your new standard. You think you qualify for a guy of that caliber when all of a sudden that guy just wanted to sleep with you. He doesn't care about you. And so the dating scene itself is confused.
Okay, I'm going to read these super chats. Shout out to Mr. Curlin. He says, I'm so sick of saying this. Bro, you ain't obligated to deal with a chick that comes back. Keep it classy and keep it pushing. It's that easy. Thank you so much.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is, though.
Well, how nice.
It's not easy to say no.
It's about the message. Why is Kevin getting so much traction? Because of precisely that point. That's something Black women have to squarely confront. It's not a matter of just keeping it put. No.
You're saying that it's hard for it. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm understanding what you're saying.
We have several generations. We got Black women in their 50s that are delusional. They're being fueled by a Black love industry, social media.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so important. And the only way that this is going to correct itself, this is going to sound bad, the only way it's going to correct itself is Black women feeling some pain in this.
You don't think Black women are already feeling some pain?
No.
Wow.
But
not when most Black women are fat and happy, literally.
Listen,
well, let me ask you
to be happy. You saw the New Yorker.
Well, let me ask
What did I see?
The article in the New Yorker that women are pretending and putting on a smile and a happy face.
Yes, they're not happy. They're not happy at all.
In reality, they're not. They're living in, they're living in turmoil, and they're
we have to have a basically great expectations type of thing. Oliver, please, can I have some more? We have to have something like that before it corrects itself.
Nah, what the problem is, I don't understand dudes' things. This is the best time to be a man. All you gotta do is Derek Jacks these bitches. Do some push-ups. Tell them what they want to hear.
That's not going to help.
All right.
That's not
all right.
That won't help.
Yeah, all right.
That only makes matters even worse.
I mean, yeah, for the whole, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just talking about for all these dudes complaining. A lot of these women.
The complaint for the guys are legitimate. You got Black women that are average at best, thinking that they're more than that, and they're not. That's the problem.
That's not the main part of the problem. That's not the main part of the problem. Hold on, Sister George. You have a generation. My generation, the millennials, that have zero fucking social skills. These men nowadays do not know how to approach and talk to women. You might as well be asking these niggas. So it's more nuanced than that. These niggas talk about they don't get women.
Mark Zuckerberg is a millennial too, and he didn't have any social skills. So what?
He rich. He don't need social skills.
He wasn't rich when he was in Harvard.
Well, you see who his wife is?
She ugly.
Yeah. She's Asian.
She's ugly.
Yeah, she's average.
She's ugly. She's not
average.
She's not average. She's ugly.
She's average.
All right, whatever. She's ugly.
No, whatever the heck ever. She's average.
All right.
Okay, so the real problem is that a lot of black women are delusional. They need to be.
I never discredited that, brother. I never said that was the problem.
That is the main problem. That is the problem. And until that is corrected, nothing else will matter.
And so how do you think that you would be able to stop a woman from feeling herself? How do you stop that? How do you demean a woman and tell her she's not good enough to a point, especially when so many aren't even willing to date them at this point? They're not getting married to skinny women. They're not getting married to fat women. Black men are just not getting married the way they used to.
Well, black women have made the calculation that they can replace the non-sexual things a man brings to the table by Big Daddy government. This is the reason why black women vote for the Democrat Party to
Y'all love saying that.
So
black men vote for the Democratic Party too.
It's not my opinion.
We would cajole the vote for the Democratic
Party. Wait. When you say that black women vote for the Democratic Party, let's not act like the majority of black men didn't vote for the Democratic Party.
Not my point.
We were bullied
but
into
it should be a point, because when you bring up when you bring up political parties and say this is who black women voted for and this is why, explain why black men voted for the same Democratic Party.
What the point that I'm getting at is that black women, and you can go back to a very good article that was written in March of last year on the Vox website about Trump's appeal among black men and the political gender divide between black men and black women. You're right to point out that that the majority of black men still vote for the Democrat Party, but that the growth of black Republican males has significantly grown over the Trump years, and it has exacerbated a gender divide. And that gender divide is along something that people in these parts should know very well.
That's
Submission, patriarchy. A lot of black women don't want that. And they want the state to help foster a life that will enable them not to have to be subordinate to any man.
But let me ask you a question. And this is kind of what I've been wanting to get down to the bottom of. What happened between us to where women would say, I refuse to be under my man. I refuse to be under my counterpart. What happened?
Freedom. The very things we're talking about right now, not just feminism, although that's a part of it, but
feminism and welfare.
Not that too, but that's just a part of it. It's also Roe v. Wade.
So she chose to be free. She chose to be free rather than to be with her man.
Yes,
she chose the illusion of freedom.
Why would she have chose the illusion of freedom rather to be with her man?
Matter of fact, there's a phenomenon known as Moynihan scissors that I would suggest you two check out.
I know about the Moynihan report, but I've never heard of Moynihan scissors.
Moynihan scissors, yeah. So the bottom line is that freedom happened to Black America, and both black men and black women have a hard time being free. This is the first time we've ever actually been free. Now, a lot of black people don't want to admit that.
We were more free in the 60s.
A lot of other people in American life have a longer time being free than black people have. So, we're not very good with negotiating. For example, I'll give you an example of what I mean. So let's go back to the scenario that the brother Sean talked about. You have the average at best sister. She's got 2 or 3 kids out of wedlock, usually, not always, but usually. But even in the case of a marriage goes south. She's got a kid or 2, she's back out on the market. My question becomes, for a brother like me, okay, what do you offer me? What are you going to do for me that I can't do for myself? A lifelong bachelor. I can feed myself, clothe myself, clean for myself, operate a successful business, and that's after retiring from a 22-year-long career. What do you bring to me that's worth the trouble?
You're very specific in what role a woman plays in your life, because when we name some of the typical things that a lot of men require or are on their list, that doesn't entice you.
Well, I mean, even with that being said, I was listening to the whole dust up. I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow with Steve Harvey. And I think what's interesting, even though this whole thing was 11 years old in the making, it's fascinating how nobody is asking the question right now. Okay, if the implication of Steve Harvey's argument about he and by extension other men can't just be friends with women, especially attractive ones, because of the sexual factor, and the argument is, well, you're sexually objectifying women as if they don't offer anything else, then that begs the question, okay, take sex off the table, what do you offer as a platonic friend?
What do you mean? You don't have platonic friends?
What do you
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. I said, what does an attractive woman that I want to bang but doesn't want to bang me back and just want to be a friend? Okay, so what are the benefits of being my friend?
Great conversation, a home cooked meal every now and then. Great advice.
A bond that you don't have with other women, that in objectivity as it relates to your relationship issue.
Can I ask
she
a question?
Spends her own money when y'all go out. She's not looking for you to pay for
a good
Wait a minute,
woman.
let us finish answering. Good wing woman, she can introduce you to women that you may not necessarily have access to.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, I think a woman as a platonic friend could be a lot of great benefit. To be honest,
well, a dating coach said today that for a man who's looking for a wife, it's important for you to have a few attractive friends that you have no interest in, because they'll likely hook you up with their other equally as attractive friends.
What dating coach said this?
His name is Jeffrey. I can't remember his last name. It was on Clubhouse.
Can I ask my question?
Well, I just like to say this, that the market as a businessman, see, I look at everything. See, for me, with my interactions with a woman, is very simple. If we're not bumping bellies, then it becomes just a straight up business transaction now. A simple matter where all parties mutually
Obsidian, because you said even when you had your homegirl sneak into your wing woman, because you specifically said this. I was present for that show that day.
Yeah.
You said you went to a Derek Jackson event.
That's
and
right.
You said you had a homegirl sneak into the bathroom.
That's right.
and scope out what they were saying. So
That's
your
right.
woman, your homegirl was really beneficial to you in that moment, because you couldn't go in the ladies' room. Well,
Right.
you could have if you had identified as a LGBTQ. Never mind, but you get what I'm saying.
Go to sleep.
Well, but I'm glad you brought that up, because that makes the point. I mean, if that there's something offering to me that I can actually use, that's one thing. But how many women offer that?
Quite a few, if you get to know them. And everybody, can you guys hit the like button? That would be really, really, really helpful. I know you guys want this video to go viral.
Yes. Actually, not many. And here's the reason why: because men determine the market when it comes to women. It's just like women determine the market when it comes to men. So if women's friendship in Black America was that important, would be seeking it out. They're not.
What do you mean? I think men are seeking out women's friendship.
No, we're not.
No.
Y'all are putting these niggas don't got social skills, and they keep winding up in friend zone.
Some guy, people seek out my friendship. I think it's because I'm a nice person, but
I'm saying overall, no, that's not true.
Anecdotal experience.
So obviously, the Black men have made the calculation that it's not that great, because if that was true, they would be seeking it out in greater numbers.
Well, let me read Black Wizard super chat, because Black Wizard's a tyrant over here. Shout out to Black Wizard. He says, I think freedom rarely looks like what people want, and women deserve theirs. They also deserve a share of the responsibility for the community as a result of their decisions. Life holds all free people to account eventually. Thank you so much, Black Wizard. I think that's a really good point. Wizard. But I think the problem is men don't really see women's accountability until women are at the very end, while men have had to face their accountability very early on in life when they've made certain decisions and choices. when a woman ends up 40, 50 years old and she hasn't accomplished anything and all she has is a bunch of kids to look after and no companionship, that's when we face our that's when we have our accountability. That's when we have to really face it. And then outside of raising kids by yourself, but nobody really looks at that as a thing. But when she ends up alone, I think that's when our accountability kind of comes in.
Nah, she can still kind of delude herself.
You say what now?
She can still delude herself because they got the new thing. Single by choice is the new word.
Yeah, I think people say that until they come across somebody that actually wants to be with them that they like. It's not by choice if you had a good option that was there that you wanted. When you have options and you still choose to be single, and good options and you still choose to be single, that's single by choice. But most women aren't saying that they have all of those options, especially after a certain age.
I've heard quite a few older women say that they were single by choice. Quite a few.
What you talking about?
Like I said, they can say that they're single by choice, but most don't really have the great options that they're looking for. If a woman found a really good option for a man, like the dude was all that, he was everything that she wanted him to be, she would go. So
See,
to me,
I have
that's
no
not
problem.
single by choice.
I have no problem with whatever they want to tell themselves. The problem I have is then you don't need any black man to protect you then, because you can protect yourself. You don't need any black man to do anything for you because you can do it all for yourself. You're completely autonomous.
They don't want no man. They don't need no man.
I keep asking the question, how much control does a man want to have over a woman? Like, if you were able to, okay. So if you don't want the control and then you don't want to be with them, what's the point?
Well, the question is, let's flip it back on the ladies. Like I said, for the past 7 years, black women have been saying they're not being protected. These are the same black women that want to say my body, my choice. You're having sex with somebody. Why can't you get them to protect you?
Well, they're not being protected by, like Concrete said, if they were having sex with men that were protecting them from the beginning, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
Well,
so that's the question that we have to put on the table.
Look at the case of
these black women are having sex with somebody, the most freakiest kind, to let some people tell it.
Look at the case of Megan Thee Stallion. Look at Megan Thee Stallion. Look at this girl that got beat up by Chad Wheeler. What they need protection from is the niggas they fucking.
So again,
that's what they need protection from.
So again, why are they asking to be protected from the very men that they actually are having intimacies with? Why?
So black women are needing protection from other black men.
But why are they?
Chad Wheeler was white, sweetheart.
Why are they not selecting for black men who will protect them? Why are they not selecting for black men who will protect them?
I don't know the answer to that. I think it's a good question.
Because that's what other women do. Other women don't do this. Other women don't do this. The feminist movement in white America is a fringe. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. It's a fringe. It's on the fringe. Purple hair, Shanty Binks types. They're on the fringe of American women. But in Black America, that's the default setting. And I'm simply asking, is the trade-off worth it? Obviously, black women don't think the trade-off is worth it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking about we ain't being protected and invoking Malcolm X 1962.
And I hate when they invoke Malcolm X because they misquote. They say that Malcolm X said that the black woman without a man is the most disrespected woman in America. Without a man. They leave that part out. Malcolm was talking about these bitches without husbands. And he foresaw this way back in the 60s. Black women without men are disrespected.
See, the problem isn't whether black women have autonomy or not. The question is, how are they going to propose to handle the inherent problems that come when you say, I don't want to be subordinate to any man? Okay, how are you going to protect yourself?
Well, this is what women are doing. Women, like I had outlined before, she is in the same survival mode that he is in at this point. So they are equally out here basically surviving. She has to get up and go to work every day. If she's not collecting money off of welfare or getting child support, she's basically in the same set of survival that he's in. And if she's out here surviving and she doesn't have anybody to come home to, nobody to protect her, I mean, what can we really expect her to do?
I think the problem is that men, Black women seem to not be able to realize that men and women are not equal. Men and women are not the same, and we are not equal. That doesn't mean.
Let me ask you this then, Sean. Where would you say that, as far as equality, where does it end?
Well, when I say equal, this is what I mean, and I think that's where we kind of get into a little bit of semantics and wordplay here. When I say equal, I mean that, okay, as a man, I can go outside and take a walk around the block, no problem, no worry. I'll just go walking. As a woman, you can do the same thing, but it's not as safe as you to walk by yourself as it is for me as a man.
It ain't safe for you to walk by yourself now with the popo out here.
But you're in
killing that many niggas.
What's more likely to happen? You get attacked by a man if you walk outside, or me get attacked by a cop for just simply walking around the block? I get what you're saying though, but what I'm trying to say is, in that scenario, what would be the best outcome for you? The best outcome for you, if you want to go walk outside, is to, hey, honey, would you want to go outside and go walking with me? That's the best case scenario for you. That's the best thing for you to do in order for you to feel safe.
Okay.
Nobody's controlling you. Nobody's telling you you have to do it. But you, as a woman, know, hey, for my safety, it's not safe for me to walk outside. It's better if I go walking outside with my husband.
Sean, I understand what you're saying in that aspect, but there are way more things that have to do with freedom and equality. And so when you say that Black men and Black women aren't equal, where do you feel that the equality ends, besides her not being able to walk and be her being able to go outside by herself at a certain time?
I think that's a pretty good start.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good start, but then this is how I'm looking at it. If you're saying that, and this is how I look at Black men and Black women being equal at this point, she's able to have sex with any and everybody she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
She's able to do whatever she wants to her body.
Mm-hmm.
She has control over all of her reproductive rights.
That's
she
right.
gets to choose if she wants to bring a child into this world. She gets to say that she doesn't want to have a child. She gets to choose if she wants to go to work or if she wants to actually sit around and collect off the system. I would say that, matter of fact, I think she actually has more rights than Black men to a certain degree. But with her having, well, if she with her being able, so I'll say, like, with children, if she is not able to take care of her children financially, they'll give her welfare. But if a man is not able to take care of his children financially,
access to benefits,
right,
lock his ass up.
They'll lock him up. And so
yeah, go ahead.
What I'm trying to figure out is, okay, she has a lot of freedom. She has a lot of autonomy of her own body. Like, tie in the freedoms that you don't feel that Black women have versus Black men.
But
I can answer your question very easily. You were a member of the United States military, the Navy, if I understand.
Yes.
So you, more than anyone else, understands just how fragile democracy is.
Yes.
Every woman here is only a man away from being seriously effed up, possibly even killed.
Mm.
So physical strength is really the primary difference is that you all are pointing out.
Hang on.
Trying to talk, but
hang on. Like I said to Danielle, she knows better than most women The vast majority of women of any color, especially black, have absolutely no idea just how much on a knife's edge we exist. She does. She's been around the world. She's been in the Navy. She's seen how other women live. She's seen it firsthand.
But so then when I go back and I ask the men how much control, because and this is what's confusing to me. When I did go to other countries, and I'll give y'all a good story. So I was in Dubai, right? Our ship would go to Dubai quite often, and you'll get some customary, they'll tell you about some laws that you just kind of have to figure out for yourself being around town, right? So we go to this mall, and this mall has like everything. It's got like a Walmart inside the mall, or their version of Walmart inside the mall. So we go to the mall. You would notice the women walking behind the men. If a man had something that he wanted to jump in front of you, he could. And there wasn't anything that you could say about it. But this is the type of control that they had over their women. All of the women were dressed from head to toe. You couldn't see any skin showing. Mostly you could see either was face or eyes, but not a whole lot. You're not going to see a whole lot of skin unless they were tourists. There were a lot, like there are quite a few countries like that. Those countries are under a strict patriarchy. But then if you ask men over here in America if they actually want to go back to a patriarchy, or if they actually want some type of control, most of you guys are sitting up here saying, no, this is not what you want. So then I'm asking, what exactly do you want? And then you're saying, well, we want women to take accountability. Women haven't fucking taken accountability since they gained freedom. Like, I don't know.
How do they take accountability, sis? They get on welfare to support their kids. They blame men for everything. I swear to God, black men invented AIDS and killed all the dinosaurs. Everything is our fault. Like, when the fuck do y'all take accountability for anything?
Like I told you, accountability isn't going to be taken until it's late, way too late in life.
All right, so y'all not taking accountability. So you just contradicted yourself.
No. Not a contradiction at all, because I stated this before.
Yeah, she's talking about a timeline.
All right, yeah. But the woman has to get to her 50. So every year before that, every moment, every second, every hour before that, she ain't taking no fucking accountability until life catches up with her.
You know why? You know why she's not going to take accountability? Because she doesn't have anybody that's going to really sit there and hold her accountable. Or if they're holding her accountable, she's not going to feel the effects of that until much later in life. And then what's the fucking point? You don't want no fucking kids with her. You want to pump and dump her. You still want to see her naked. You want to do whatever. She doesn't have to take accountability. Y'all ain't going to do shit.
And that's the fundamental trade-off of the sexual revolution that black women haven't figured out, but all other women have. And it's empirically borne out. A lot of black women haven't figured out that the trade-off for being completely autonomous is exactly that. Guys only want to see you get naked. Guys don't want to marry you. Guys don't want to wife you up. Guys don't want to protect you. They just want to keep you and abuse you, pump you and dump you, and keep it moving.
Exactly. And then they don't even want control of that at the end of the day.
I think that because we live in a first world country, what women need to do is this. We don't have a strict patriarchy. What you need to do, just like you, both the two of you women did, I'm pretty sure you got yourself up under a man and y'all work shit out together. So you know what Curlin expects of you, correct?
Of course.
So, and you're willing to capitulate to his expectations, correct?
Happily.
So then every woman needs to do that. Find you a man with whom you can make a deal. Isn't this what Kevin saying? You say all goddamn down? Make a goddamn deal. Let's make a deal.
But in order to make a deal, you have to have something the other party wants.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
See, obviously, I don't care to get into the inner workings of their relationship, but it's pretty obvious that Danielle offers something that Curlin wants.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty obvious. And it's also pretty obvious that there are a whole lot of black women that don't have something that a whole lot of black men want.
That's not. I said it's amazing what a couple thousand push-ups and sit-ups could do. They work for women too.
Well, let me read these super chats real quick. Shout out to Y Skinner Man Cave. He says a man should never put himself in the friend zone. I absolutely wholeheartedly 1,000% agree with that. He shouldn't be in a friend zone, but if he winds up in a friend zone, it's because he doesn't know how to set boundaries, nor does he know how to hold women accountable, which is why he keeps getting ran the fuck over. Shout out to Man of Tomorrow. What's up, MOT? He said, "Get him, Crete." He said, "You're not gonna take that, not the concrete I know."
Tell them, MOT. They've been trying me all day.
Thank you for the super chats, guys.
So yeah, I think that's the ultimate answer for black women. What has happened since they've had complete autonomy? Well, they had a complete breakdown of the black family. They've had untold millions of black children aborted. They've had a complete breakdown of black American civil society. Black men have, in a very real sense, objectified black women. Pretty much black women have now been reduced to only sexual objects, to be brutally frank. Very few black women have anything to offer outside of that. I mean, I'm just being brutally frank. I mean, when you have national anthems of sorts like WAP, I mean, where else do you go with that? What else?
That's from a Hispanic woman.
Well, but black women that
they let her be the spokeswoman of black women.
That and the fact that there was a black woman that backed her up. So I mean, my thinking is, enjoy, ladies. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
What did I say on Monday, sis? I said, yo, listen, y'all need to shout women like that down. Look at it like this. The average black woman nowadays not only looks down on a black man, but she looks down on her grandmother. What did Shorty say on Monday? Oh, that's slavery. Your grandmother a hoe because she was forced into slavery by a man.
She didn't say her grandmother. She said yours.
All right, but I'm saying the average black woman looks at her grandmother in them generation, the women that built the black community. The women that helped build it, they look at them as they are beneath them. So the women that built the community are beneath the women that are single-handedly destroying the community brick by brick.
You're conflating because she was saying that sex work and prostitutes aren't anything new. How can you guys say she was promoting prostitution and also say, oh, she was looking down on? She was just highlighting that, hey, this ain't nothing new. Your grandma and your mama did it too.
She did not say that. She said that women were forced into slavery by marriage. She said a bunch of bullshit about black women couldn't have. See, she said a lot of white feminism talking points.
But the specific point that she made regarding people's ancestors and grandmothers, she was saying that they were also prostitutes. So that
because they engaged in marriage. And marriage then was controlling to women. And she equated marriage to slavery.
Yeah,
this is what they think now. They equate marriage, being with a black man, working with a black man.
Married 3 times. She's been married 3 times herself. She's saying women who are marrying for resources.
They ran away.
What?
I mean, she's been married 3 times. Kuta Kinte ran away a couple times too.
Oh,
her new husband need to cut that bitch foot off.
No. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. She's dope, and I'm sure her husband is satisfied.
There's a sister in the chat room named Tony who asked, "Why do we keep devolving relationships to what do you have to offer me?" That's a very interesting question, since women are very strategic about who they align themselves with, especially when it comes to men, and that's especially when it comes to platonically. Women just don't align themselves with any man haphazardly. They're very strategic about aligning themselves with men who can offer benefits to them.
That's a lie.
I have no problem with that.
They fucking anybody.
But a lot of black women have a lot of problems with guys like me who also, I mean, you have to, if you want to be in my life as a woman, you have to offer a tactical, a strategic benefit, preferably both. Otherwise, there's no point for you existing. You have to offer a tactical or strategic benefit. What do you offer? You have to offer some type of assets that I can exploit. Otherwise, there's no reason for us to exist.
Well, yeah.
I actually like this is, Obsidian is hitting on some stuff, and I can't even push back on pretty much anything that he's presenting. I agree with most of the points that he's highlighting. There's nothing I can say, and that's rare that I don't have some pushback or some
Because
smoke.
you sound shocked, girl. That's so
I'm
funny.
like,
I told you she impressionable. I told you.
I'm really not impressionable at all. I'm a pretty person. I'm a person with a pretty made up mind, but I am objective. I can see, even if it's something that does not fit my life, I can understand just about any point of view that you provide, as long as you provide supporting data and documentation. I can understand it easily.
Well, Malcolm X said that the white man catches the cold, the black man catches the flu. Black women caught on to feminism, and now it is the worst thing in the world to suggest that they work with us. Like, they are so much better. They are goddesses. We got to get on their page. Isn't that what she said? She's a goddess.
Yeah, she did say
Above
she's a
men.
goddess.
Superior to men.
She did.
If we're beneath them, they're not going to want to get on their page. So honestly, they need to be taken down a peg. It's fucked up to say, but they need to be taken down a peg. They need to understand.
Who needs to be taken down a peg? The women you don't want to control?
The collective.
How can black women be taken down a peg? Like how can that be done? I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I follow.
It's gonna come a point where I don't think that they can actually be taken down the peg, but it's gonna come a point where we look at the generation before us, right? So the young girls that are coming up, and they're gonna look at the women in their 40s and 50s and say, "Nah, I don't want to wind up like that bitch. That bitch is bugging. I don't want to be a cat woman. You know what? Let me shut up and make a sandwich. I don't want to wind up alone." You know what I mean? The worst thing that you can say to a black woman right now, and I say this shit all the time in these YouTube chats to trigger black women, you're gonna die alone. That's the worst shit you can tell them right now. That don't nothing hurt more than that.
I don't think black women are fazed by that. I've had so many conversations with black women that say, I don't know if I want to get married. I don't care if I die alone. I would rather get a house with a bunch of my friends than live with a man and retire in a house with, like, I don't think black women are fazed by that.
That's that cap. Tell her take that cap. Take that snapback off. Take that off.
Nonetheless,
I agree.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
She probably was doped up on antidepressants when she told you that bullshit. She's doped up on antidepressants.
I agree. That is a lot of capping. It is.
Like,
yeah.
It is a lot of capping. But this is I wanted to jump in here.
Okay, Tony, welcome to the panel. Thank you for joining us. Someone is saying that you're combative. So, what do you have?
Combative.
Thundercat says you're combative. These people are crazy. Oh yeah.
I'm the sweetest thing ever. First of all, peace and love to everybody on the panel and the chat.
And to you, dear.
I'm in no way, shape, or form combative. If I come across that way, I don't know. Like I'm passionate. I'll say that, but I'm not combative. Like I only came on because I saw that I was trying to type and I could not type fast enough. But the whole thing about relationships being transactional and Obsidian saying that, you know, black women are strategic and like known for being very much you know, picky about who they're dating and whatnot. But then it's like, I don't know which one to believe, because what I hear is, you know, you're saying black women are very strategic about who they date in terms of asking these types of questions and making relationship matching a transactional endeavor. But then they'll turn around and hear arguments about choose better and you ended up with a deadbeat or a dusty. And, you know, so I'm like, which one is it? Like, I don't see that being true. You know,
two things can be true.
Well, first of all, I'd like to respond to the question. So it sounds like you're confused because I made a statement about women in general, and then black women in particular, about aligning themselves with men, both intimate and platonic. You then took and conflated that with statements other black men in the black manosphere have said in response to other black women. Do I have that right?
Seemingly. So you were speaking in general about women in general and not black women in particular.
And I said that women in general and black women in particular are particularly picky with regard to the men that they align themselves with, both romantically and platonically. Was that an inaccurate statement?
Sorry, women in general and black women.
Women in general and black women in particular are particularly picky about who they align themselves with in terms of men, both intimately and platonically. Was that an inaccurate statement?
Well, I can't say that it's inaccurate, but I can say that it sounds all inclusive. And I mean,
are you suggesting that women as a general proposition are not picky about who they align themselves with romantically and platonically?
I'm saying, hey, it may apply for some and it may not apply for others.
Okay,
that's
so
what I'm saying.
Okay, so what women are known to be indiscriminate about who they align themselves with intimately and platonically?
Those same women that, you know, the men in the manosphere, like you said, because I guess you were differentiating yourself from that group of men or those groups. The same women who are, you know, getting pregnant by these deadbeats and, you know, are said to have to, you know, choose better.
Are you suggesting that those guys are saying that those women made an indiscriminate choice?
Tony, are you there?
Hey, Obsidian, can I offer a little bit of pushback?
Yeah.
I think the thing with black women is this, and studies have proven. I'm just gonna make a statement. Black women either want one or two things, and this is why the manosphere was created. They either want everything or they want nothing. They don't want. That's why a lot of this manosphere is here, because they don't want the men in the middle. They want the niggas on the very top or the very bottom.
That's fine.
And studies have proven that black women are out of all races, the only ones who are or more likely to deal with a man who don't even got a fucking job. That's black women. So black women either want everything or they don't want shit.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or you die.
So, you know, I think that it's certain segments of black women who are very strategic. And then there are ones who just aren't.
Good point.
There are not enough black women in the middle. That's our problem. There are not enough black women in the middle.
Okay. Well, we are going to start final thoughts. Sean, start us off. What did you think of the topic and the show?
Well, as usual, you know, great show, great panel. You and Concrete, y'all kill it every time. I love being on here. But
Don't make me cry.
But as far as the topic, the question that you asked is in relation to the topic is how much control would we want over our women? And I'm gonna kind of double down on my answer earlier. I don't want any control because, and I almost wanted to change my position, but I'm gonna double down on my stance because I feel like if we actually knew what our purpose was as a man and as a woman, I feel like this question would be a moot point because we would know what our obligations and our duties and our responsibility would be as far as the dynamics of a relationship. And because the way that the gender war is now, you know, black men and black women, you know, we're at each other's throats. We're not getting married like we used to be. Families are not being created like they were back then. All of that is because I feel like we're not living into our purpose as men and as women. Because if I, as a man, am married to a woman, I know what my duty and my obligation is to her, and she would know what her duty and her obligation is to me. And that would be true in the context of living together and raising a household. So therefore, there would not need to be any control, because you know what you're supposed to do, and I know what I'm supposed to do. You know, and so that ties into personal responsibility and accountability. You can do what you want. You're free. Do as you please, but you know, you also know that there are responsibilities that you have to live up to, and if you don't, you know, things get out of whack like they are now between Black men and Black women. You know, not getting married, gender war, and so forth and so forth. So, yeah, I just want to leave it at that, and I think that'd be the case. That there would not need to be any control if we lived into our purpose as men and as women.
Okay. Well, Sean, as always, great to have you up here. Really appreciate you coming through.
Thank you as well. See y'all Sunday.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, Sunday is going to be a good show, Sean.
Oh, Sunday's going to be
all right, I'll be here, no doubt. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, too.
To our very best member of the show, Karan, what are your final thoughts on the show and topic?
Tell me anything. Tell me anything. I feel like I said, there doesn't need to be a control. There needs to be an accord. We need to make a deal. Black women need to come back to the table. You're gonna have to hang your head a little bit because you fought this gender war. You lost. You lost. But I think that my view on the future of the Black community isn't as nihilistic as everyone else's. In the 2010s, you had this, what's this woman, Pink Pill, and all this swirling shit coming about. And now with the revelations provided by Bumble and all these dating websites, Zaddy don't want y'all. And Black women are starting to have to come into grips with that there are no other options. There is no second choice. It's Black men or die alone. That's your option. So this is why we really need to, as a group of men, stand up for brothers like Kevin Samuels, who speak the truth, of City, and all the brothers that speak the truth, because women are starting to see that. And there is, I feel personally that there's going to be a course correct, because mortality is a motherfucker. And when faced with it, women have to be true to themselves, but we also have to understand that the internet is like the military. You could be whoever the fuck you want on the internet. You could be happily single. You could be, I don't want no man, don't need no man. But when you crying and your cat is telling you to get the fuck up off it, you know the truth like everybody else know the truth.
Gosh.
So, you know, but I just think that it's no control, and women have to start really looking at what our community used to be like. And it has to be a certain level of humility, because you can't make a deal with me. I can't make a deal with a goddess who thinks that she's better than me. She's the superior. And I'm just here to please and do for her. That I can't deal with that. What deal is to be made? So, you know, that's it. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you for joining. We didn't abuse you this time. We allowed you to get it all out, even though you insulted me before the stream even started and said that I'm impressionable. But we always appreciate your contribution.
Don't forget the sister wife part.
Oh, and I used to be a sister wife, but now I'm gonna be on a farm with a hippie doing
George.
Self-love.
with that woman, that hippie girl.
Yeah, thank you, Karan, for your contribution. Stop slandering my character, because I don't appreciate it, but we definitely appreciate your contribution to the panel.
That's the part where you say thanks for having me. Okay.
Peace out.
Somebody talking to me?
Oh, my bad. I'm walking. I'm on my way to work. Nigga work all day. I'm trying to get like Obsidian.
Oh my gosh. We got a super
Ron,
chat
keep
from
your cable
Smooth.
tight, darling.
Oh my gosh. We got a super chat from Smooth. That's why Karan was so bothered by Amina, because she's essentially talking against his occupation. But we got a super chat from Smooth. He said, "Burr, what happened to that girl?" Thank you. Thank you, Smooth, for the super chat. We appreciate you, bro. Danny, who's next?
Let's get Brother Roger report in. We haven't heard from him, and I'm sure he's ready to tell us that we aren't shit. Go, Roger.
You know it. Listen, it wouldn't be him otherwise.
I don't know why I gotta say it if y'all saying it for yourselves.
I really don't like this man.
Roger, what you got?
You said it, I didn't. You said it, I didn't. I mean, my thing is, sisters have control over their bodies. Why not? You know, what person doesn't want a person to have control over their body? Now, if you misuse it, then you got to accept that you're responsible for misusing your body, and whatever you did got you to where you are because it was on you and not somebody else. If women would actually accept responsibility for what they did with their own bodies, Black community would be in a much better place immediately. Immediately, you can't blame somebody else for, you know, a lot of women say, "Well, he got me pregnant." No, you signed up to get pregnant. You the one that had sex with the guy who who wasn't wearing a condom. You didn't use birth control. You didn't have an abortion when you got pregnant. I know some people gonna say, well, that's whether it's right or wrong. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. That's the choice you made. One thing I do know about abortion is Black women use it. I do know they use it. So it's a form of birth control for a lot of them. They didn't put the child up for adoption if they wasn't in a position to take care of the baby themselves or whatever the case is. So they're doing whatever they want to do. When it comes to getting married and having a man who will vouch to take care of you for the rest of their life, some women don't want it, and my thing is that's fine. If they don't want it, you know, you're not going to solve this problem without a lot of women dying alone anyway. It's a good amount of them are going to have to die alone. Why? Because a lot of Black women are stubborn, and Black people as a whole have a track record for being stubborn. Now, sometimes we use it where we should, sometimes we use it where we shouldn't. And I think Obsidian was making a great point that Black women are strategic on who they hook up with. Because, yeah, do they hook up with bums and dusties a lot of the time? Sure they do. Do they have a guy's baby who ain't got no job? Sure they do. Now, when they older and they want somebody else to take on the responsibility of what was left over when they did deal with a guy who had a bump, don't they want somebody else to come in and play stepdaddy? Sure they do. Which means what? They're being strategic. They have different strategies at different points. But it's not like the women are dumb. They don't know what they're doing. If you hook up with a bum and have a bum's baby, you did it on purpose. And if you're looking for somebody else to take care of a bum's baby, you did it on purpose. But at the end of the day, as long as you got your autonomy, we know everything you did was on purpose. And if Black men could just accept that what Black women do is on purpose, we would have a much better understanding of them, and we can get to where we need to go a lot faster. Some people gonna suffer. You can't save everybody. It's gonna happen. Don't trip. Just walk on by. If a woman ain't under your leadership, she's not your problem anyway. If you offer leadership to her and she rejects it, let her make it on her own. That's what jobs are for. Men have always had jobs to take care of people. We know this and we understand it. Man has to have some type of job of some kind. Now he can own the job, meaning it can be his own business, or he got to work and he got to provide. Period. A woman who refuses men that are willing to provide for her, just let her refuse it. It's cheap on you anyway. Spend your money on yourself. It's not really that big of a deal at the end of the day. Women got to do what they got to do because they want companionship and all that type of stuff when they're older. And they're going to be looking for guys who they didn't build a life with to give them companionship. And as technology is there and people get older, you're going to have to deal with the fact that men are just not going to be there to give it to them. And that's just what it's going to be. But until people actually see the suffering of people, especially in Generation X, when we're old, when we're in our 70s and our 80s, people gonna really see some suffering. And when they see it, they'll know what to do next time, and they'll know how to make sure they're not suffering like other people are. So yeah, just let the clock keep ticking. You know, we're gonna save who we can. Some folks, they're gonna have to see us in our 80s and 90s struggling to get the message. That's just the way it's gonna be. And I'm done.
All righty then, Roger. Um, yeah, we really appreciate you always coming through and doing that good stuff and telling us what's what. I'm going to read this super chat. Shout out to Black Wizard. He says, America is just a blip in humanity. This community doesn't have to survive. Nothing is promised. Each of us deserve happiness. If this community goes, it goes. That is the way of the universe. Damn, Mr. Let It Burn. I didn't think you was gonna say that, Black Wizard. I thought you was gonna be like, let's kumbaya, goddamn.
Black Wizard be getting them in sometimes.
Child, I just he was like, call it. Author, hey,
Hello. Hey,
what are your
Welcome to the
thoughts
panel.
on
What are
the
you?
show?
I don't. I missed probably the last 10 minutes because I was trying to get something done on the back end. But I don't know if I heard it when I was initially listening. What was the point? What did black women need autonomy from?
You're asking what why did I say that they needed autonomy?
No, I'm saying what
Uh,
was the reason that why do black women need autonomy and who do they need it from?
My guess now, this is just my guess and is an opinion, so this is just mine. I feel like a lot of women were abused back then, um abused, raped, um
well, the
and
short and sweet answer is the system of patriarchy.
yeah, that too. That's a good answer, concrete.
So whose patriarchy were they under? And were they
Uh,
abused under that patriarchy?
well, we live in a system where white patriarchy reigns
No,
supreme, and
we're not.
the country is governed by white patriarchy. So it would be
Oh,
white patriarchy. However,
right.
Black women individually do say that they are, subjugated by Black men in the Black community as well,
Really.
or have been.
But I'm saying, when has that happened? When has history
I
ever
don't know.
shown?
You have to, speak to those women. That's not necessarily my sentiment,
Oh
but
no,
these
it's
are,
not. Yeah, I've
yeah.
heard you all talk, so I know it's not your sin. Y'all just
Okay.
talking about the topic. I'm just
Okay.
asking, the women,
Uh,
when women say it, there's
mhm.
no proof of black women being
So
subjugated by black
I'll
men.
give you an example, I think, of what they mean. When we think about like our grandmothers or not grandmothers, but maybe great grandmothers or great great grandmothers, they might have been in relationships where, Papa was a Rolling Stone and he had multiple families, and or they couldn't leave the nest because they didn't have the resources. They didn't have their own checking account. They relied solely or primarily on, the man of the house to take care of the bills. And as a result, they were kind of beholden to them, and couldn't like leave freely and couldn't make, some of their own decisions as a result.
And that was bad for them, or were they more protected then?
Well, it depends on what side of the coin or what side you're on. I think Black women believe that it was bad for them. I've heard Black women in conversations say that those are some of the primary reasons why they don't desire marriage, because those are the examples of marriage that they recount, and they don't think that that's beneficial for women. So it depends on who you ask as it relates to whether or not it's bad for women.
Like, they've never lived under a honest black male patriarchy though, so
True.
everything is based in opinion. Like, they see other women. It's like a child looking at a parent's relationship, not fully understanding the ins and outs of why certain things have happened, and the child making an assumption based on that limited information.
Ooh, good point.
Because they can ask questions, but then is an honest answer really going? Are they going to say, after you get that answer, are you going to be more protected or less protected?
But then let me ask you
They claim
this.
that.
Let me ask you this. What do you think would make a woman want to get from under her man? Like if she's being protected, provided for, she's being loved right, what would make her want to escape from that?
Looking left and looking right, thinking there's something better outside of what she has. Because if she's protected, we put it in that genuine context. If she's protected, provided for, she doesn't have to work. All she needs to do is teach the children. Because here's the thing that most people don't take into account. My wife is a teacher. So she does all the education for our child, and she's starting the school. She's gonna do all the education for other children. These women weren't ignorant; they had to educate their children. There's a story in Oregon where when the family back in like the 1700s, or well, early 1900s, late 1800s, where the families were, they wouldn't let the they wouldn't let them teach, they wouldn't let them their children into the school. So the black men and the black women built schools for themselves, and the women and the men were teaching their children. So the women were supposed to be teaching their children. So this whole notion of them being undereducated or not having their own autonomy within the relationship, it was almost like a misnomer, because the wife had her role and she played that role. The man had his role and he played that role. The problem is children looked at their parents and thought that that role that they were playing was somehow diminishing their value to the family legacy. Because I listened to Kevin saying I'd never paid attention to the reality that in Big Mama's house, they didn't even talk about the father who built the house and created.
You do have a
Maybe they
point
did,
there.
and maybe I missed it, but
No,
No,
I,
you're
I
right.
remember.
like the
I don't.
male.
You're
It
right.
was always Big Mama house. We going to Big Mama house, not
It
Big Mama and Big
always
Daddy.
Big Mama's, right? I had never thought about that, but we were raised in that. So this reality that the women were somehow ignorant and somehow didn't have some kind of power. The husbands, I mean, the stories I read about these black communities from the early 1900s and late 1800s, they were prosperous everywhere they went, in Florida, North Carolina, obviously also Oklahoma and Oregon. Every community where black people uh, congregated and came together and worked together, they were prosperous. The only problem I had is that they didn't have a military or some kind of force to fight off the invading white racist people. It was never the stories I read about Black history and the stories I read about black woman and black male man relationship. Never was this total dictatorship against the man was ruling over the house with an iron fist. Now, if the man was ruling with a iron fist, it would be from the notion of a benevolent dictator, because it's kind of like, you ever had the situation where your child comes to the mother and then thinks they can go to the father.
Yep.
Those one like that's maybe that's a drastic reduction of what that really is, but um, the context would still seem, based on the history I read, that there was no need for a black woman being autonomous from those types of black men, because they were protected, provided for. They taught the children. The children knew their role. The wife knew their role, and the man knew his role. And in that context, there was a bunch of prosperous black communities all over the South and the North. Wherever they went, wherever black people came together, it was prosperous. But for some reason,
I agree.
white women outside of that prosperous community had an issue with their white man because of stuff that was going on with them, and black women let that poison their minds. So they're looking left and looking right, and they thought that if they were autonomous from that, they would have something better. And now we see the results. The black men, some black men feel like they don't need the black woman. The black woman feel like they don't need the black man. And look at the community.
Yep.
But black women are the, like, I didn't know. I mean, I fully understand this when my wife is teaching my child that the black women, my wife is Nigerian. I tried to marry an American black woman, but it just, however it worked out, it worked out. I didn't know she was Nigerian before I found her, so I wasn't looking for that. But she teaches culture, and we teach American culture. We teach history, black history, and all those kind of things. She teaches all this stuff to my child. She's passing this on to him, and I instruct him on matters of business and matters of what it means to be strong, overcoming, and being the kind of man looking towards the future, knowing what kind of purpose he wants to have and what he wants to do. And this is distilled on much earlier, but the whole reality I'm getting to is that uh, I don't, this whole notion that, I know you all understand it for this, but the notion of what did they gain by being autonomous? What, sexual liberation? What is that? That's the most base level of human expression. To put your reproductive organ into something, or we have a reproductive organ go into you. That's the only, what does that produce though? That's produced a whole generation of baby mamas and a whole generation of parentless, like single parent household, because the man had no obligation or no responsibility to an autonomous woman. But when there was a patriarchy, I had to go ask. When my wife, I had to go through a whole process before I could marry my wife. It's called the knock, because there's a patriarchy in that house. I couldn't come into that house unless the father welcomed me in. Now, I was raised in a two-parent household, and I knew, because of how I was raised, that I had to ask the father's permission before I could marry his daughter.
But she comes from an intact culture. We
No,
have
no,
a
no,
fractured culture that
but
we
that's what I'm
don't.
saying.
Okay.
Even with her, this was from the hood. I'm in the hood knowing this. My dad
Right.
was in the house, and my mom. This is what they taught me. I'm in the hood, and I have two children, two mothers of two children, but I asked my son's mother, who I didn't marry, for I asked her father for her hand in marriage. He looked at me like I was crazy. He said, "Why are you asking me that?" So I do believe that women are more protected if they're less autonomous. There was no need for autonomous from the black men of the past. I mean, it can make sense now. They need autonomy from them, but it's further destructive, and it doesn't do the black community any good for black women to think that they need autonomy from their men like white women thought they did, or the fringe group, as Obsidian said, needed from their men. But it seems like the smallest groups are the loudest, just like with the LGBs and the so-called people in the hood who they put on the media. There's a lot of good people in the hood. I grew up with them. Most of the people I went to school with who were in the hood with me, they're business owners, they're PhDs, but then the problem is they don't. A lot of us don't go back and uh, make the women there see that those people who left come back with the money they generate from the businesses and the jobs they find when they leave to rebuild those places. So I like the idea of buying the block. So those are the projects I'm raising money, well, growing my businesses for, so I can go buy whole communities and start doing that. But the collective as a whole, they do stuff so autonomously, and there's no benefit to one person going and buying a place if we got all these billionaires and millionaires who've left the hood and don't come back and buy the whole place up and then gentrify it from a black perspective and remake all these prosperous black communities we had in the 1800s and early 1900s.
I want to know whatever happened to Tony.
She came up and then she had to drop down. But I want to read these super chats because we do have to close out. But
I think
author,
Fantastic wants the link too.
oh shoot. Let me read these super chats. Shout out to Eisen Sama. He says, "Thank you, Sister George and Concrete. The hopium addiction stream was very awesome. You know how I enjoy the fuckery."
Oh, Eisen is such a jerk.
Well, damn, Concrete, not after the super chat.
No, he is always saying something snarky. He's a a-hole. He knows it.
Not after the super chat, baby.
Okay. Oh, after and before. But we appreciate him. Thank you for the love.
Okay. Shout out to Karan Williams. He says the color purpling of Black America Granddad was just beating and cheating. Fuck out of here.
Oh, he's talking about the comment that I made in response to Arthur. But no one says that that's how my great granddad, he had a family on the side, but he was a good granddad. He wasn't beating anyone. He certainly took care of he was the patriarch. He took care of everybody in the family. So I don't think that at all.
Oh, well, shit. One of mine was beating and cheating and having kids all over the damn place. And so,
see, it's her, Karan. It's her.
It's not a farce. It's not far-fetched, darling. But anywho.
That seems to be exasperated. I don't think it based on what I've read, it's not that frequent.
Yeah, y'all talk about what y'all read, but not about what has actually been experienced.
Well, I got a chance to meet my 3 times great grandma. So my personal these are anecdotal kind of situations, so we can't make them seem like they're the norm.
I think Tony wanted to say something.
Hey, y'all.
We gotta finish reading the super chat really quick, and Tony will get you in. We got another one from the Roger Report Live. He says Black women were protected and provided for during slavery too. They don't have a problem with white men in general. Black men have never treated them as bad as slave owners. I agree with that, Roger. Thank you for the super chat. Go ahead, Tony. It's on you.
Hey y'all, sorry about that technical
No
difficulty.
problem.
I forgot what the hell we were even talking about. What I don't. Oh, I just needed to get back in.
I was asking you a question about you. You seem to disagree with the point that I made about women being strategic and who they align themselves with, not just intimately but also platonically. You seem to disagree with that, and I was asking you, do you believe that women, in this case Black women, align themselves with men intimately and platonically indiscriminately?
Well,
Do you?
no, I'm sorry.
Do you believe that?
Well, no, I'm saying. So initially, I did conflate the two things that you were saying because I don't believe I heard you. When you were, making a statement about it, and you did clarify that. But my only thing was I was kind of, I wasn't sure about how the two could exist at the same time and be true at the same time. But then I had a moment and I'm like, yeah, well, two things can be true at the same time. So I kind of want to like fall back and be like, okay, cool. I could see that.
I'm wondering why you're concerned about unidentified disembodied voices in the Black manosphere have to say about anything. I'm curious.
I'm not concerned about it. It's more so just a talking point, providing a little bit of, I want to say not pushback, but just providing a little bit of friction so that the conversation could keep going in a direction that it's like, okay, other people might want to jump in. So it's really just, to get things going and, to keep things interesting. I personally don't care about what the men in the manosphere because they don't affect me personally.
Okay, so let's do it this way. So the topic is what has happened since Black women had complete autonomy, sexual autonomy, bodies, and all that sort of thing. Okay, so my position on that is that Black women have every right to choose who they allow enter their body for any reason that they want without prior notice or approval or permission. That being said, they must also accept full responsibility for it.
Right.
Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree.
So they have absolutely no business putting together "You OK Sis" street harassment campaigns because these women are having sex with other men who should be protecting them. And if they're not, whose fault is that? Is that those women's fault, or is it the community's fault at large? Is it the responsibility of Black men who don't know these women, have no connection to these women, aren't having sex with these women? Is it their responsibility to intervene, or is it the responsibility for these women to take care of that problem themselves and or with the men they're having sex with and reproducing with?
Well, I know for me, if I were faced with the question from one of my male family members, should I jump in if I see a woman on the street, struggling with a man who's, accosting her? Should I jump in? My response to that to my family member would be, I would probably just kind of ask her, hey, do you need some help?
That's not my
And
question.
fall back a little bit.
That's not my question. My question is, if we both agree, you and I, Obsidian and Tony, if we both agree that Black women have every right to their bodily autonomy and get to decide when and who and under what circumstances they allow a man to enter their body, then those same women, that their claims to "You OK Sis" and Black women not being protected are null and void. Why? Because they have autonomy. They're strong and independent, don't need no man. And they're already having sex with men.
But that goes.
Why can't they go to those men? Why can't they go to those men and get them to protect them? Why?
But that goes without saying.
No,
and honestly,
it does need saying.
What?
Why can't they go to those women that they're having sex with to get them to protect them? Why are they having ad
if it's first off, if those women who, and we're talking about these particular women who identify with sexual autonomy and liberation and
which is the vast majority of Black women.
Well, I don't know if I could
You
say
don't
that,
you don't you
but
don't identify with complete bodily autonomy. You don't believe in my body, my choice. You don't believe that?
okay. Wow. So you're like a machine gun. Like I can barely get a word in. But what I'm saying is, if to answer your first question, and I'm like trying to okay, wait a minute, one thing at a time. Jesus Lord. Um, but with the example you had given with that woman who would need protection at that point, and she has already chosen to live that life, to say I'm about that life and I don't need men for protection, then okay, well, she's on her own. I could understand a man's position at that point. It's like, you threw me away, you said you didn't need me, so don't cry when you need me, at that time. I get it. All I'm saying is, with this conversation, we're saying what has happened since we've gained autonomy over our bodies, as if it kind of with this undertone of, it's our fault that we're, not being protected. We're not being,
It is their fault.
Jesus. Okay.
Okay.
But the
I'll say it ain't
liberation
otherwise.
of our bodies and our right to say no or yes, or who we procreate with, reproductive rights. How is that a consequence for not being protected by a man?
Because
How is
It
that?
destroys the marital structure
because if
in
that wasn't true,
relationships.
because if that wasn't true, there would be no you okay, sis. Your husband would
What
protect
is
you.
this UO sis? What is that? What is that?
The idea that black men at large owe black women group protection and intervention.
Okay.
If that were not true, then that wouldn't exist. Their husband would protect them. But a lot of black women don't want that, which I have no problem with. I'm not here to force black women to do something they don't want to do. What I am here to say to them is they will take ownership of the consequences of their decisions, whether they want to or not. That is what I'm saying. They have chosen to be autonomous. That has costs. Freedom ain't free. Somebody got to pay. Better you than me.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna read my super chats and then I'm really gonna get final thoughts because I got stuff to do. Shout out to Karan. He says, so y'all kicked me off to get who you really wanted on. What happened to closing comments? Karan, the insecurity, I can smell it over here. Oh my gosh, it's so unbecoming. No, it's just some of our good regular people that's been here longer than you. Never mind. But Tony, did you have any final thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. I might have to simmer on that a bit, because to be perfectly honest, it just doesn't seem to be
Completed?
I'm okay. So
Okay, we'll
I
come
don't
back.
know.
We'll come back to you.
I'm gonna have to
We'll come
simmer
back.
on that. Yeah.
Okay. Chaos Rain, welcome. What are your thoughts on the show and what are your final thoughts?
Right now, what I thought about my body, my choice, and the whole topic at hand is that, ladies, freedom does cost, and the cost could be either your life or otherwise. And because America has given this luxury, because of the so-called creation of feminism, which was created by a man, mind you, and I have a show that talked about that, that this is the repercussions women have to face now for the past 50 years now, since this has been so prevalent in our communities, that now women find themselves alone, miserable, and taking medication that could potentially kill them mentally and physically. So now that women know what really happened, the biggest question everyone should ask, including you three women up here or anybody else, is what you're going to do to change that. Because the men already know what's happening to the environment. Only women have to step up now and decide what they're going to do differently to get a different outcome. That's why when Mr. Samuels goes and does a show for now going on 11 months, now going to be a year in the next few weeks, that is prevalent. They know what women want and they want a different outcome. So the biggest question to ask, what are you going to do today, not tomorrow, not next week, today, to have a different outcome for your life? So that's my closing statement.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate you, Chaos Rain. Thank you so much for coming through. Eisen, what are your final thoughts and comments on the show?
I just got two. I just wanted to come up for the first one and say to C Rose, uh, thank you for the heartfelt and warming compliment that you gave me. I appreciate it very much. And Sister George, put that hand down and get the real drink. Get you some Remy 1738.
You know I go back to hood rat every now and then. That Henny just won't leave me
Hey,
alone.
you gotta leave that trash alone and upgrade to some good shit. You're supposed to level up.
I'm a level up. Yeah, I'm a level up. It's the week for it. It's a celebration. Yes, it is. So
That's all I got. Peace.
thank you, Eisen. Appreciate you coming up. Mr. Fantastic, what do you have?
Hey man, appreciate y'all for letting me come
Oh,
up.
wait a minute. And
Uh,
shout out to you for the Cash App. Really appreciate that. We like a
no
Cash App.
problem, no problem. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know they don't steal 30%. Um, uh, Listen, this whole thing with black women is we talk about it all the time, but I was actually thinking about this today. Um, Black women really need to go back and look at the history of this. No matter how much white women wanted their independence, their freedom, their power and the things to be able to do. One thing they've never ever done, even though they're still the leaders of the charge of feminism, they have never left their men or handicapped, hamstringed, and deliberately put down their men because women should understand your job as a woman is to be the helpmeet of your man. Okay, your group, your race, your demographic is supposed to be able to depend upon you to keep your race, your group, your demographic at a level of power. So if there was to be some, crazy cataclysm, or civil war, so to speak, not wishing that or insinuating that, but for the purpose of survival of who you have. And I think due to the lack of education on a lot of things and the understanding of power dynamics, black women just bought into it. And to shout out to the term I learned here, the Miss Ann syndrome of them really wanting to be in the shoes of the white woman. They feel like the reason why they eliminate the black man so much and are so quick to put him down, and like the young lady said on KS, even though she's, generations removed, she feels like she can just leave the black man alone and go get another man. When all the numbers and the data shows that you just don't got it like that, sis. And if they don't want you like that, you're not hot out here in the streets. And your number one option is the first dude you want to turn down. And then if you don't turn him down, the guy that you want is the 10% guy that, again, not enough for them to go around. So black women, the clock is ticking, and it's not gonna look good. By all means, hey, live your life, do your thing, live your best life, hot girl summer 2021 and beyond. Good luck, wear it in health.
Well, Mr. Fantastic with the good word, honey, with the good word. Appreciate you, brother, for coming through. You definitely gonna want to be here Sunday. Fantastic. It's gonna be a good show. Tony, did you have any final thoughts yet?
I might need a conversation with Obsidian.
You know what? And he should
Yeah,
definitely take his email
I'm
down because he
yeah.
should.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
would
would be
love
a
to
good
have you
show.
on Sunday. I do. That's what I'm trying to do is Sunday shows where I sit down with the ladies and we talk about the various issues of the day. So my email address is theobsidianfiles@gmail.com. Hit me up and we'll work something out.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks for having me, ladies.
Thank you, Tony. Enjoy. Bye. Author, did you have any final thoughts? Did I ask you that already?
Yeah, no, you didn't ask me yet, but yeah. Thank you all for having the conversation. I think autonomy has destroyed the black community, and it's not just solely on the women, but it is the loudest people who are talking about autonomy have been in songs and music, and it's all been promoted by industries to continue promoting in media this image of autonomy. And there's no protection, there's no building. Well, there are people building, but it's all individuals. So autonomy has destroyed our community. There's a book called The Slight Edge, and it talks about how the individual actions over a period of time lead to the ultimate goal. So one cigarette won't kill you, but over time, the incremental things destroy you. And the same is true for the positive. And this whole conversation about protecting the image of black people, whether it be black women talking to black women, black men talking to black men, because these current black women won't listen to black men. And there was a video that I'm pretty sure, I hope a lot of people have seen it, where this black guy goes into South Beach and he's asking black women, would you rather marry a drug dealer, date a drug dealer who makes $3 million a day, or a doctor who makes $600,000 a year? I wasn't shocked by what I heard, but I was amazed that one woman said that even if the doctor didn't, even if the drug dealer didn't make $3 million a day, she would still date the drug dealer.
Wow.
And I was seriously shocked. I was actually bothered. But I mean, I know I can't get too wrapped up into these people who, in some cases, they're lost causes.
Yeah.
Because that is an insane answer to me. And there was like 2 or 3 girls who said something close to that. But then he showed at the end of these black women who were all like, no, I would never date a drug dealer. I don't have to, and he kept changing the situation to make it more enticing. And she kept saying, no, I'd rather have safe, I'd rather be protected, I'd rather be in a proper situation with a man who actually cares and desires to protect me. So I can see that there's hope, but I know that there are a lot of people out who've bought into this media storm of the image of the black woman and the image of the black man. But just like they said the other day, I do love the conversation, and a lot of black women are arguing against it. But the end of it all is that we need to protect our image, and autonomy has destroyed that image, and the liberation and all that kind of stuff has destroyed the image. So y'all keep talking, and these conversations are needed, and hopefully. Not hopefully, we'll eventually get somewhere. Those incremental steps over time, we'll get to where we need to go.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you for coming through. First time you've been on our panel, huh?
I've been watching, just hadn't come up.
Oh, well, I'm glad you decided to come up today. Really good stuff. So hopefully you'll come back through again.
Yeah, I will. I got y'all on notifications, so I see it when y'all start.
All right. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Right. You too. Obsidian, what are your final well, let me read this first. Shout out to Karan Williams again. He says Tony need to come to Big Daddy. I got the protection and Wi-Fi for you, beautiful. Yeah, Karan say he doing them push-ups and stuff, Tony. So girl, you might want to see about it, honey. I don't know. But never mind, I ain't gonna go there. But yeah. Obsidian, what are your final thoughts?
Thomas Sowell said it best. There are no solutions, there are trade-offs. And thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Obsidian. Appreciate you coming through. It was a good conversation, really good conversation. I do think that men do want a certain amount of control. I think that men don't really know how to get that control. I do think Obsidian had a really good point as far as there being no solutions, just trade-offs. And yeah, interesting conversation. Shout out to everybody who came through on the super chats. Shout out to everybody who came through. Just fantastic on the Cash App, but thank you. And shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys should be here Sunday. It's gonna be a hell of a show. This is the last part to this 3-part series, which was feminism and freedom. So we'll have a last part on Friday.
On Sunday.
Excuse me, Sunday.
It's going to be extremely interesting, so you don't want to miss it. Again, thank you all for everyone who contributed to the conversation. Very dope perspectives. I couldn't give a lot of pushback on the commentary that was provided, and it was just an enjoyable panel. So thank you to everybody. Thank you. Special shout out to Arthur for coming up and joining us. I truly enjoyed your contribution to the conversation. So thank you. Thank you. And again, just echoing Danny's sentiments. Thank you to everybody who cash apped or super chatted and the crazy chat for keeping it entertaining, and all of our panel guests.
Yes. And shout out to Karan.
Yeah,
Just
Karan. Karan is he the guy. He's kind of fast becoming like someone who reminds me of Fantastic. You kind of have like this love-hate relationship with him. So definitely shout out to Karan.
Y'all know Karan doing them jailhouse like you said he doing them jailhouse, baby.
Getting it together for Tony, baby. He gonna steal the neighbor's Wi-Fi and everything for you, Tony. Go ahead and go over there.
Well, y'all have a great rest of the week. We're out.
Peace.
Thank you.